Okay. All right, welcome to 2017 and Tuesday show.
Lean this way.
I'm Ultra David.
Hey, I'm Sajam. How's it going?
I am Tasty Steve.
And I am not catching this cold.
Dude.
I am not
David.
catching this cold.
Wailing
here.
old man cough? Jesus, dude.
There's going to be plenty of that. I'm definitely
I'm
sick and
James
have been
Chen.
for 5 days.
And how is everyone that's not Ultra David going right now?
My dad sent me a text maybe like a month ago. He was like, make sure you get the flu shot because he's a doctor. It's important. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll do it. And then I forgot. And then here I am with the flu. So
I'm squishing the names even.
there's a flu shot. You should get it.
Did you get it now?
No, he's got the
No,
flu.
I got a flu.
So it's
I mean,
too late? You're just gonna...
No, there's like different varieties of flu that it inoculates against. So I'll get it once I am back to being healthy. But,
Okay. Alright.
He's basically got the flu shot right now. When he
I have
becomes
like for one flu.
Yeah,
like one
exactly.
strain, yeah. I got it. All right. Anyway, so this show is going to be about 2016 and the year in review.
Yeah, sorry, my titles are incorrect.
Just gonna stay a little bit over here.
Yeah, I would do the same if I were you.
FGC.
We're going to talk about our favorite
year.
lists of a whole bunch of things, our favorite players and games and events and stories and all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, we do this every year, so we're continuing it this year, but for the first time, instead of having just me and David here, we have all four of us to be able to give our opinions on all of the things that happened in 2016.
Yep.
So this is just looking back at what a cool year and what a not cool year it's been in 2016 for the fighting game community.
Yeah, but you guys, just before we went live, you were telling me a story.
Dude, keep your hand away
alright.
from me. There you go.
How's this? Is this better?
No, keep it over there.
So glad that this is the seating arrangement.
Yeah, I
that
might have slept in the same sweatshirt the last 3 days. So.
Oh, come on, man.
Not really. Not really.
I don't believe him for a second. You don't throw that kind of thing out on the table without some truth being said.
You know,
You know, I know that game.
you know, remember when David was like, "Oh yeah, no one really washes their hands after they go to the bathroom, right?"
Right?
This is why.
I'll have you know that I've been doing that religiously over the past 5 days. Just so
The past
And look where that's gotten you. Look where that's gotten
That
you,
doesn't
David.
help.
Yeah.
You're
That
dying
does
right
not
now
help.
because of the festering of germs. That's what's happening.
germs. So anyway, what'd you guys do for 2016 for the new year? For the 2017 new year, I should say.
Steve and
I was doing nothing, playing World of Warcraft and coughing a lot. So what were you guys doing?
Steve and I hosted an event in New Year's.
I feel like we're in
New
an
Year's Eve.
RPG right now. And
Yeah.
It's like the...
The three of us are fighting.
We're like fighting
David.
This is our battle stances.
I'm not losing any HPs over here.
I think he's already.
He's
lost it
already
all.
afflicted with death. He's just gonna die. And then,
I already have Doom. When's it gonna pop?
Okay.
So we hosted an event in Times Square. We were like 100 yards from where the ball was.
right.
And we did a little event for HyperX where we basically just talked about, stuff. With
Video games.
With 3 streamers, Lyric, Seagull, and Nothing. And
That's
it was
cool.
super cool. We just hung out. Those guys were all cool to hang out with. It was free alcohol, tons of free food.
Bar.
So did you?
Everybody there had like 10 times more money than us because the tickets, general admission tickets, were $1,500.
What?
And the best view of the night where
What?
we took pictures from there and stuff
Uh-huh.
was $5,000
Yeah.
a seat.
I got baited so hard.
What?
I like hung out, like I met some girl dancing. And she's like, yeah, come hang out. I'm like, cool. I'm like, where are you guys sitting? They're like, over there. I'm like, those are $5,000 seats.
Can't go there.
Sorry, I don't have the badge to do that.
Well,
Sorry.
so did you guys actually get to see the Mariah Carey debacle
No,
live
no,
then?
No.
What happened?
We could
We were
have.
hosting the event.
We were hosting, but we
She
could have.
had like her microphone die or oh no, the music like went out and basically she stopped singing even though she was singing, so she wasn't
Yeah.
and like she got mad at the dancers and eventually she was just like, well, it just doesn't get any better than this, and like she was just like
Tries to walk off the stage. They make her come back on the stage to finish. Oh, she got
Apparently,
bodied so
yeah,
hard.
there's like
Yeah.
her manager put out like a statement that was basically like, yeah, the whole night there was no sound issues, no sound in her ears, so she couldn't hear herself.
Mhm.
So she was like, they're complaining to the sound people about it, and they're like, "Oh, it'll work when you go up on the stage. Don't worry about it." So she walks out on the stage and she can't hear anything.
Right.
Sounds like some
That
kind of
sucks.
shoddy production going on
Yeah.
there.
Should have hired
Sucks.
Chris Seglia.
I'm
is
just
what
saying,
saying,
man.
dude.
Yeah,
That 10 Productions ain't filled in, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
yeah,
That sounds really cool though.
Okay.
yeah. So we hosted an event
That's some
over
major
there.
esports stuff, friends.
It was pretty esportsy. It was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Awesome food. Awesome hanging out with those.
Yeah, the
other
free
gamers.
food was great. I rated the food because we were there before anybody else got there, so that's why we got to walk over to the $5,000
Yeah.
ticket area and take pictures and stuff. But then, yeah, the one thing that I got baited really badly about was I saw this thing where Taylor Swift was like
He
like
got
a
baited
loop.
super
There was a
hard.
loop of Taylor Swift videos playing
Shout
in
out
Times
to
Square.
Mark, man. Anyway.
Right? There was like a loop of Taylor Swift videos. And I was like, there must be playing these Taylor Swift videos because Taylor Swift is performing.
Makes sense.
That's what I figured. And I got hella excited.
No,
I was
no.
like,
He got
"Damn,
so
Taylor
excited. He was
Swift!"
like,
I
hey, Steve,
saw-
there's like a Taylor Swift here and a Taylor Swift here. Do you think she's going to perform?
gotta be
there?"
performing,
I was like,
right?
I don't think so, dude. He's like, are you
Dude,
sure? I'm
I
like,
saw her.
what?
I saw his tweet, and the first thing I saw was, "Is Taylor Swift performing there?" And I was like, "Oh, Viscant, ha ha ha." And then I looked over, and it was your tweet, and I
Yeah.
was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, because I was like, oh shit, is she performing? This is
Are
going
you
to
a
be
big
sick.
fan?
Yeah, I think her music's cool, but I just thought it would be sick. I was like, oh dang, is she performing? That would be awesome. Like, I was like super like looking
he
forward
got,
to it.
He got extra giddy. Like,
Yeah.
like it was
Like,
really
were you hyped for
weird.
Mariah Carey?
Nah.
You don't care.
Because we,
Before his time.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
your dad's music.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I was like,
his
eh.
mom's
I mean,
music.
Mariah Carey got bodied.
I still remember
Yeah.
there was that one American Idol episode where Jennifer Lopez was one of the judges, and one of the contestants comes on and goes like, "Yeah, my mom loves your music," and she was like, "Damn."
Bodied.
That's how they get you.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Anyway, Taylor Swift's dope, and I was looking forward to her performing. She didn't, but the free food though, man, I rated the free food. We were there before anybody else because we were production, so we got in or whatever. And dude, tables and tables of free food. They had like a huge sushi platter that was like all the
And
sushi
we were
you
just
could
going
eat,
in
and
on
we were
the
just like,
sushi.
I grabbed
Aw,
like there was like
dude.
5 different kinds of sliders, and I was like,
Ah.
one
Had
of
to make
each.
sure.
So
They
I
had,
just
like,
grabbed
this
one of
grilled
each.
Chicken one. Oh
Yeah.
man, it was good.
There was like a chicken one, like a pork one. There was like they had banh mi sandwiches.
I forgot about
Dang,
those.
okay.
And something
Yo,
else, and
this
I grabbed
place
all the
was decked out,
sushi.
yo.
I grabbed all the foods, and I tried one of it. I told Steve, I was like, I gotta try one of everything, and then I'll come back for whatever I like after, and that's
Yeah,
what I did.
makes sense. Yeah.
So-
He was definitely going in on food. I had about like 10 glasses of champagne.
yeah, this guy had at
Yeah.
least 10 glasses of champagne.
I
It's
knew
open
like
bar.
It was open bar.
Awesome.
I had a nice. Her name was Cammy. Oddly enough. With
Oh,
a K.
the one right by next to our room, right? Yeah.
It was really
She was
nice.
cool.
Okay.
That sounds like quite a story.
Yeah.
A little
Like,
esportsy.
But that's cool
Pretty
that you
much.
guys got to be in Times Square
Yeah,
for
for
New
sure.
Year's. you
No.
know.
It's impossible to get into Times Square
Well, I
for
just
New
mean
Year's.
at least
It
you
took
were
us
in
an
the
hour and a
area.
half
At
Yeah.
least you were in
walk,
the area.
like 2 blocks.
So
What?
the walk from our hotel to
Ooh,
the
okay,
venue,
never mind,
the walk to
never
the
mind.
It was
our
the
hotel
worst.
to the venue is 10 minutes because we walked home and it's
Uh-huh.
only 10 minutes. But to get there through Times Square with all the cops and everything, hour and 20-minute walk.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
really bad. Like each block you go
That's-
to, there's like police officers, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't let you in here." I was like, "But we need to go right there." They're like, "So does everybody," and I'm like, "Well,
So that's basically why people, when they go to New York Times Square, they do it like a day or two early.
oh
and
yeah."
just camp there,
Like
right?
if you go look at like some of
Yeah.
the photos we took, like
There's
we're
a billion people
it's
down
like
there.
so
I
many
bet.
people that they look like ants. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Oof.
like the way we did it is like if we're here and the event's here, instead of being able to just walk there, we had to like walk.
So like leave
Around
out, walk
like
up
that.
this way, make a right, go
Yeah,
down like
that's
5
nice.
blocks, make another right. You
We
know?
had like 20 extra blocks to walk because of the way it worked out. It was really unfortunate.
Well, I really want to also talk about the Japan trip as well, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to, let's save that for the end then. Let's
Sure.
talk about that a little bit at
Okay.
the end. Because what we want to talk about, obviously, is the fighting game community in 2016.
Yeah.
And all the awesomeness that has happened and all the not awesomeness that has happened in 2016 for fighting games.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we do this every year, so we have a bunch of different categories.
I have it all on my phone.
And lists.
Oh yeah, mine's also on my
So,
phone.
which categories are we going over?
So let me bust out the categories for you here real quick. The categories are going to be Player of the Year.
Okay.
This is for any game, obviously. Match of the Year for any game. Fighting Game of the Year.
Ooh, not necessarily newly released.
Right,
Just
uh-huh,
fighting game of the
Oh, okay. That makes
Uh-huh.
way more sense now.
Yeah,
But
uh-huh.
all right.
year. Maybe we should have explained
Yeah,
this.
probably. Event of the Year.
Yeah.
Story
Evo.
of the Year, which is like whatever, like things that have been happening, what we thought was important for the year.
Okay.
FGC member of the year. This is not necessarily a player. This is like, people who write, who do production work, or just overall do great things for the fighting game community. Newcomer of the year, which is anything. We don't care if it's a person, a game, or what.
Okay.
We just call it Newcomer of the year. This is kind of where it starts getting to more of the humorous kind of, we get to have fun kind of thing. The Random Select Award, which is if there's anything that we just wanted to talk about.
Yeah, anything else.
Anything else that we're like, you know what, I really needed to talk about
That didn't fit in
this.
any of the other categories.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last one is the personal FGC resolutions
Yeah.
for 2016. That is our
I
resolution.
mean, for 2017.
2017, you're right.
Yeah.
Type 16, okay. So there you go. Those are our categories. So
Okay.
I figured let's just go in that order. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, let's go big. Let's just
Do
start big, right?
Let's do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to do it like so we go through all of our number 3s, all of our number 2s,
Yeah,
all
I
of our
think
number
that makes
1s,
sense,
like
yeah.
how we
Okay.
used to do?
All right.
Okay. All right. So fighting game player of the year. 3 obviously is the third most important, but first
Yes.
number 1 is the most important.
Right.
What order should we do this in?
You can just get it going. We'll
Okay.
do a little round here.
I'll start. Okay, I'll start. My number 3 player of the year was Hungrybox.
Oh, okay.
I put
okay.
Hungrybox there because he took Evo. He was winning all at the beginning of the year for Melee.
Yeah.
And, dude, the way that he won Evo was ridiculous. Like, that was just the most amazing match, and he just had a bunch
Super
of cool
good.
stuff. And then, of course, in 2017, he breaks his hand in dodgeball, and he can't go to Genesis 4.
I saw
Boo,
that. That's
boo,
crazy.
boo, 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 body.
And I blame Javale for
Like,
that.
did that just happen?
Yeah, he literally showed an X-ray where he has a chip in his finger, and he's like, I don't think I can play.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, well.
What a dummy.
But Hungrybox...
Gotta insure those fingers.
Yeah, was my number 3 pick because I thought not only that, but
Play some video
like
games.
it always had been Mango and Armada, and then he snuck in there. He was 2 years in a row second place at Evo. Now finally first place. Hungrybox was my number 3. Who's your number 3, Steve?
Okay.
My number 3 is Lost Soul.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, and a lot of, I guess, the anime community, for me,
Well, someone said that he is going to go, and he's just hoping to use his middle finger instead. So.
oh my god.
He's gonna just
good
try
luck.
to not use his index finger or whatever
Good
it is.
luck. Anyways, continue. Lost Soul.
So
Sorry.
Lost Soul, because in the anime community, not largely known for their online-only players, Lost Soul coming out of seemingly nowhere, especially to the people not familiar with them on the East Coast. We are all on the West Coast. Did an amazing job. Took some tournaments from other people and definitely made some waves in the anime community, especially the Guilty Gear community, as one of the better, if not the best, players in a lot of instances involving
really cool.
Guilty
He
Gear.
was one of my newcomers last year.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Newcomer.
For sure.
My number 3 was Sonic Fox.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is ridiculous. He wins all the things. He cost me buying James dinner at Sujita, so I didn't think he was gonna win ESL again for
You
some
bet
reason.
against Sonic Fox?
Just 'cause, like,
What are you doing?
Mostly for the
You
entertainment.
just felt like helping out your friend James.
Yeah.
They wanted to buy him.
It
That's
really,
all I had to say.
it was one of those things where it's like there was no bet because everybody thought Sonic Fox would win. So I was like, I'll take the
Do
field.
you like that, Steve?
I tried. So yeah, Sonic Fox.
Look at the one with David.
Steve
That
was
one's
happy
good.
with
Yeah.
his new emote here. So.
That one
That
is
is
good.
cool.
The arms go with everything.
Yeah,
it's a really good
uh-huh.
emote.
Okay, alright.
So Sonic Fox was my player of the year, or third place
player, yeah.
player of the year.
My player of the year is player 1 for taking so much control that in Street Fighter V they doesn't even let player 2
That's not
decide
a
whether
real
to
person.
rematch.
That's your third place?
Yeah, that was my third place.
But also, I think
Player
it was
1.
that like he was also like entered 17 times in like the Red Bull Battlegrounds in that bracket that they had, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was,
that's
like, he
right.
was, like,
Remember?
player
Yeah,
one.
that's right.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Yeah.
There you go.
27, alright.
Should we move on? Can we move on? Can we move on? Can we move on?
Okay.
Fun
Okay.
fact about that, when Brad and I play, we do that. I'll like rematch at my house and it'll be like, bro, I didn't give you the thumbs up, man. But you can't just rematch on me. I'm like, I'm sorry. We go
That's
back to character
awesome.
select. We redo
Take
it.
a breath, think about it.
And now we've done that. We've moved on to the AOK. This is the 2017. This one.
Well, you can't do that because that's bad in like Brazil. Like,
Oh,
if we do
really?
that to Berlino, like, Berlino's gonna punch us in the face, dude.
You
So.
got this one. There's all kinds. You know this.
Okay.
There's
Tubular.
new ones. Yeah.
You're tubular? I'm tubular. Start the match.
All right, James.
All right, number 2. My number 2 player of the year, and honestly, weirdly, I mean, this was a hard decision for number 2 and number 1 for me, but my number 2 player of the year is Saint.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good
Because
stuff.
Really?
he took,
Okay.
because he took Evo and then he took the Tekken. I mean, that's basically like you won Evo
Right.
and you won Capcom Cup,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
for
it's the
Tekken
same
7.
thing, yeah.
So I gave it to Saint because that is a difficult accomplishment, and I think he played super well during. Tekken 7 is not on consoles yet, but you know, it's just to be able to get that accomplishment, I think was really, really cool. for
Okay.
him.
Okay.
So.
I would say not in similar fashion, but in game similar fashion. E-Circus, Anakin.
Yeah.
This dude
Okay,
went.
okay.
That's a
They
good
said,
one.
"Hey,
That's a good one.
how good are you at Tekken? I'm so good that I'm going to relinquish my spot and continue to enter these tournaments because I'm that damn good."
Yeah.
And people came by the slew to try and stop this guy.
Yeah.
And he won it every time. Even when it was some new little Majin thrown into it, speed kicks, his future teammate was thrown into it. Like, it was always a thing for him to have to. Rip was one of those contenders. Like, there were so many people that came out to try to stop this dude from winning first place. And it was not easy, but he did it, especially in every tournament that he entered. So he does get
Super
my
cool,
number 2
yeah.
for the year.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see that tweet they're talking about,
Yeah,
Saints tier list, where he
Oh,
said,
yeah.
like, S tier was whoever you want to play.
Uh-huh.
Like, just follow your heart and play who you
Uh-huh.
want to play. I was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
All I'll say
You
to
can
that
play.
is
He's
that
wrong, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a real
I
tier
was
list.
just about to say, Cien's
If you believe,
Cien
guys.
is reading that tweet and he's just like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
mother.
Talk to me when you played Q for 8 years. Let me know when you've done that.
Oh man. So who's your number 2, Mr. Ultra? Oh,
Good try.
did I skip you?
Yeah.
Come on,
Sorry,
David. What do you got?
sorry.
My number 2
It's
was
the voices threw me off.
Mhm.
So yeah.
good cover. Infiltration was my number 2.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Yeah,
Infiltration?
Infiltration.
Okay.
I think you can't undersell this man's dominance in the first half of 2016. Like, to me, it was just crazy. Like, to have that run that he had from the start of Street Fighter V all the way to EVO, super impressive. Like, everybody's scrambling to learn the game, and he, to me, was super impressive with how quickly he learned it,
Yeah.
and that he managed to maintain until EVO.
He definitely learned it faster than anybody else.
Yeah, which I think is really impressive.
For sure.
Especially since Nash is really not as good as everybody thought. Right?
I've been saying that since the
I know.
beginning, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's so good. No, he's
Yeah.
not.
A lot of
No, he's
people-
not good.
Steve,
A lot of people
Steve,
said that.
Steve.
A lot of people
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
that.
People
Like, yeah, a
called
lot of
me
people
crazy.
were like,
Steve,
They
no,
called me
Steve,
crazy.
I called you crazy.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Steve, it's okay. It's
yeah,
okay.
so he's
I got it.
my
It's okay.
he's my number
It's
2
okay.
player just because,
It's okay.
come on,
Yeah, that
Infiltration's
makes
ridiculous.
My number 2 player is Knuckle Dew.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's the first time that I can ever recall thinking that an American is the best at whatever is the best, like whatever is the biggest fighting game of the moment. Never thought an American is the best at anything. Like, it's just not. In fact, I don't know that an American has been like top 5 legitimately.
Oh, no.
But he probably is the best in the biggest fighting game in the world right now, and that's first. So hats off to him. I think that's super great.
Okay. Yeah. And that's why I was saying I had a hard time trying to decide between my number 1 and number 2. My number 1 is Knuckle Dew because that is such a crazy accomplishment. You know, like, look, Europe got there before us when Luffy took Evo, right?
Right.
So, like, America has always been kind of the whipping boy, you know? So, like, to have him actually do that, and not only do that, but do it in such a dominating fashion. Like, it was clear that he got to the point that he was
Yes.
better than everyone else.
yeah.
And then also, I have to give him, the thing that put it over the edge is because I know the kind of year Knuckle Dew had.
Right, could have gone very differently.
Right, to get over all the personal issues that he had and everything like that, to come back and become the best player in the planet for Street Fighter V, which has the most competition for all the games, is really impressive for me. So he is my player of the year.
Well, also my player of the year. For all those reasons, plus the fact that, like what you said, like before, for him being your number 2, if you look at the time that we're in of Street Fighter, Knuckle Dew being the best, the Like the unequivocal bet. There's nobody else out there that's showed the progression that he's made on top of beating the people that he's beat consistently, as well as had the tournament showing to back it up as well. I mean, the only closest person that we would have would be, say, a Justin Wong, because consistently placing, he is from the United States. On top of that, he's just a really good player in almost every game he plays. But the fact that Knuckle Dude went to every tournament he went to, he was like, nah, man, you know why I'm here. Get comfortable. I'm trying to win this tournament. And the fact that he stuck to his guns. He played the same characters. He just continued to evolve his tech. As far as like as player of the year, I feel like there's nobody else that even remotely gets close to
I mean, he got sent to losers bracket first round, remember, in the top 16 of Battlegrounds, and still came in all the way.
And still came back and won. That's ridiculous.
He said, he was like, I feel like me and Tokido's grand finals. So I had to play him first round, and that's grand finals. It ended up being grand finals. His name beat him. That's sick.
Well, who's your number
Knuckle
one?
Dude.
Yeah.
So David changed things up. Tell us who's the player.
Well, did you want to add anything about that? Or?
You guys handle it. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say.
I definitely thought about putting him number one. I ended up going with Sonic Fox.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, he was the best in MK. There was a time when like the NRS scenes were terrible, and him being the best was like, who cares? Because there just weren't that many good players. But it's not really the case now. There's a lot more good players, and on top of that, he played Street Fighter V for like 40 days, and he got top 8 at final round in his like first ever tournament in it, and then he didn't put any time in it anymore. But I think that like that shows that he's ridiculous. I think that's it. But yeah, it was a close one between those two.
Okay, cool. Shall we move on to, what was the next category here?
Match of the year.
Match of the year, or do you guys want to take a break first, or what do you want?
Yeah, we can just continue.
Okay, let's do match of the year. All right, so number 3, match of the year. Now, normally when I pick match of the years, it's always like this super close, super hype match. It's always like, or something significant.
Yeah, we got
like
the same
that
one.
kind of thing.
Right.
What's that?
We got the same one. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, my number 3 match is the complete opposite. It is Knuckle Dude versus Xiao Hai.
Yeah.
That whoop at Capcom Cup. That whooping in 6 minutes was unprecedented.
You have the same one?
I have the same one for third, yes.
Because Knuckle Dude, I mean, look, Xiao Hai was considered, might have been the best at that time, you know, and then he was going into Capcom Cup really strong. Sure, he had lost to Knuckle Dude already, but everyone's like, I mean, he told us at Canada Cup, he's like, oh, I didn't know the matchup.
Yeah.
And so, okay, here he comes,
you
coming
expected
back.
to put the work in, you know.
Didn't happen.
No,
so
nothing.
Still lost at U-League also to him.
That's
with
right,
a nerfed Mika,
Oh, yeah, with the nerfed Mika.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
Who's
she's
the
definitely
same in the
nerfed.
corner.
I'm just being a douche when I do this.
So yeah, that's my number 3.
Yeah, he told us afterward that he just knows how Xiao Hai plays. That's all. He just watched him a lot. He knows how he plays.
Says that he knows the players that he's the fan of the most.
Yeah.
So he was a fan of Infiltration. He was also a fan of Xiao Hai. And
all you gotta do is know how Xiao Hai plays. That's all.
Yep.
All right, man.
Well, my third match for match of the year is Xiao Hai versus Bushin Style in Wednesday Night Fights.
Oh my god.
It was too much. So much.
I need stability over here.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I look at that and I'm just like, man, that Bushin Style guy, like, I actually have to greet him. Like, I greet him and I'm like, hey man, how you doing? Like I said, that's what he's done for himself. Nothing can ever take that away. And on top of that, I knew what was happening in Xiao Hai's head. I said it during commentary. It was like, this guy's gonna continue to do it, and you're gonna keep getting hit by it. Like
he out Xiao Hai.
Exactly with Rashid. Like that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was
fun. Man. Anyways, for me,
Mm-hmm.
that definitely that deserves a top 5 spot.
Okay.
I have Tokido versus Infiltration from CEO.
Yeah.
dang.
I forgot about
That match was like the turnaround. You know what I mean? There's so much about that match that was really sick. Like, obviously, Tokido had the parries that were really good, like, on EX Moonsault, plus the forward roundhouse media that he parried, and, like, he closed it out with the perfect. He had, like, the parry on the Wake Up Super. Like, he had all that kind of cool stuff. Yeah. But more importantly, it was, like, the first time Infiltration looked like he was in trouble in all year. Like, nobody was really making him bleed his own blood. And then also, just because... Man, right before Evo, it made it like, oh man, it's Infiltration done. Like, oh, we don't know, and then he wins anyway. But it was like such a sick set to watch. Yeah. That one is my number 3 for the year.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I have.
You have the same one. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Anything you wanted to add about that? Or?
No.
Okay. My number 2 match of the year was Sonic Fox versus Tekken Master Grand Finals.
Ah, yeah.
Evo.
We have the same list.
Are you serious? That's your number 2 as
That's
well?
also my number 2.
Here, you talk about it then. You commentated it, so
okay,
you
yeah,
tell
sure.
me what. Because look, I just like Sonic Fox took off his hat. That's all I'm gonna say.
I
So
mean,
go
no,
for
like it's so rare that Sonic Fox has to worry in tournaments. It's very rare that he loses. It's only happened a couple of times over the last year. And Tekken Master is like not a nobody. People knew that he was good, but he comes from a scene in Bahrain that's like really small.
Right.
And he doesn't get to travel that often. And somehow he made grand finals of Evo. He's like the number 2 player in the world all of a sudden. So that was nuts, and that he reset it even was crazy, and that he caused enough trouble that by winning the game after that Sonic Fox felt like he had to like remove his headwear for the first time ever. I thought that moment Sonic Fox like recognizing that he was in trouble and like removing the headgear was like as much of a like noteworthy moment as anything that happened in the actual game. I thought that was really good. Shout outs to both of those players.
Number 2 for you.
So my number 2 happened at the North American Tekken Finals. It was actually a match between Rip and Kane.
Oh,
Dude, it was like, small story. I was tasked with like relaying anything sick that happened to the 10-0 production crew who ran the event.
Okay.
And I was watching on the corner. So it's like, and the thing is about it that made it all the more intense was Rip was like, dude, like, Kane's so good. Like, I'm not going to beat this dude. I'm like, come on, man. No, you can't think like that. You got to go in with the eye of the tiger. He's like, man, dude, Kane's so good. He started crying and slobbing. I had to go get tissue. I was like, Rip, man, you got to come on, dude. You got to hold it together. And what happened, the match that ensued after that was so spectacular. Like, it blew my mind. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, some of the stuff that was happening, some of the evasive properties, the slow motions that happened, man, it was ridiculous. Like, it got higher and higher as I watched them play. Like, I almost fainted. Somebody I was on the side, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? It was so good. And nobody saw the whole match. Like, they didn't see the Rip reaction to him, like, freaking out and looking around like he was in a roller coaster. He was like, oh my God, you know? It was such a good match. If you get the chance, go back and look at that match, because, oh man, that was such a visual display. It was ridiculous.
you know how Rip is, like, with all these kinds of things.
Rip that guy puts a lot of emotion into any celebration that happens because of the result of the match. No matter what. I've seen it multiple times, and it's always good.
His reactions are too good.
Yeah.
So, my number 2 match of the year was Knuckle Dew versus Tokido at Red Bull Battlegrounds.
Okay.
That was, you know, Dew looked really good before that, but that was the one I think where people were like, damn, this guy's legit. Like, that was such a good match to watch, especially after it happened first round of the tournament.
Yeah.
You might want to pause that so there's no echo, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It happens to me all the damn time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thanks, Twitch. So, what's called? The damn panels don't work. Trust me. What's called?
Tasty Steve versus Claw Machine.
Oh man, I saw somebody in there say Sejam versus Sejam segways. I beat that guy's ass. I beat him. It was, oh man, he's good. But yeah, Dew versus Tokido at Red Bull Battleground to me was such a sick match to watch. I feel like the matches I always enjoy the most are the ones that I actually get to watch in person.
Right.
When I'm not commentating. Like, commentating the match, I feel like is always really good. But when you get to watch it as a spectator, as a fan, there's like that extra feeling of like, it was so good. And man, we were popping off for America. I'll tell you, we were going nuts for America. Like, it was not even for Knuckle Dew, it was for freedom. Like, everything we were yelling, to hear the crowd in that match sounds special to me, because like he jumped at Dew, and Dew down fierced him, and I heard people in the crowd yell freedom. And I was like, they're like, you can't jump in on freedom? Or they were just, every time there was an anti-air, someone would yell, freedom! And I was like, oh, it made the match a little special to me that every time I watch it, I just think about it, and it's such a sick match.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I had the same number 2. So do we have the same number 1, I wonder?
Maybe.
Look, there's only one match this year that made me cry for that long.
Oh, yeah.
And so my number 1 match of the year is Hungry Box versus Armada Grand Finals at Evo.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Because
that was a good one.
That one was ridiculous. There were at least 2 times once in the first set and once in the second set, that Armada was pretty much on stock point, and it was like, well, okay, congratulations to your second place again. And Hungry Box would make the most ridiculous comeback.
Yeah, that was sick.
And his reaction afterwards, just the way that, you know, how, like, he started crying on stage. And I thought it was cool because it kind of validated that Liquid also hired his coach to come and help him with that. And like I said, that I was like crying for like 15 minutes afterwards.
That's true.
So much to the point that Toph and Bobby Scar were just like laughing at me. They're just like,
True.
"Are you still crying, James?" Like, seriously.
That happened.
Yeah.
We were like about to go on. I was like, James.
Yeah, I know.
Wrap it up, James. Put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that was probably the most hype I've ever. And it's like you said, when you watch a match, like, I lose my voice more from when I watch matches than when I'm actually commentating them.
Right.
And that one, like, I almost lost my voice before Evo Top 8. So.
Okay.
So.
What do you got?
All right, I have a 3-way tie.
What?
And with
You can't do that.
you never. That wasn't in the rules. I have a
Okay,
3-way
fair
tie.
enough.
Now,
All right.
because I have
You
a
didn't
3-way
say.
tie, because I have a
I think it
3-way
may be
tie,
implied, but all
I'm
right.
only gonna save the matches, and I will not go into how
There were three.
there were
There are
3
three
instances
spots.
in which I was freaking
There's
out.
1, 2, 3.
Look.
You could have just taken your
Yeah,
three-way tie.
that's how it works.
And just
So,
have those be your
no,
three.
no.
Okay, yeah, all right.
He gets
yeah.
5.
Yeah, you got
Box
5.
versus
You got it.
Armada, of course.
Okay, all right,
That's
do it.
one.
Okay.
Also, it was Elvin Shadow at CEO 2016 in Guilty Gear versus
Kazunoko?
yes versus
Yeah,
Kazunoko, because that was crazy. And then it was Tekken NA Finals, the last chance qualifier when people had been playing for like 15 hours. And the last match of the day was for Spirogen versus Reno Face to get into the last spot. When I tell you, like, people actually screamed they will bow, and the entire room would
That's awesome.
scream every time.
That's awesome.
Like, those 3 matches had so much hype. Like that's why I couldn't separate them, because I was like, yo, this has to be the sickest match of the year. And then I'm like, oh damn, the Armada box. Oh, I can't forget about that. And then I was like, oh damn, the Guilty Gear. So it's like that's my 3-way tie.
Okay, see, I did that for you.
Nice in the chat.
All right. That's a pretty good list. So I have a 5-way. No.
I'm gonna say, damn, the
What
one.
the hell, dude? My match of the year is from Capcom Cup. Daigo versus Sako.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
this
Yeah.
match to me was such a grind. It was such a
That's true.
long
That's
match,
true.
first of all, and it went down to like final round of like every single game. It was like a super crazy grind. There were so many clutch moments. Like, Sako had this crazy, like, 90% comeback at one point. Daigo had some crazy Ume moments. Like, it was such a dope set. It was so good.
And he basically lost it on an execution error, right?
It was not an execution error.
Oh, was it?
What happened is Sako had been doing this the whole set, which is where he would do low forward, and you can lay cancel as Chun-Li. So you do low forward, see it hit, and then hit confirm legs. Do low forward, see it hit, and hit confirms. Like,
right.
he had been doing that the whole set. And so the
Right.
last time he hits Daigo from mad far, low forward, he sees it hits, hit confirms the legs, and it just
Misses,
whiffs in his
yeah.
face. Because
It just was range.
the cosmic lords above saw Umehara, and in his time of need, our lord was saved.
Because he had
And it just whiffed by that much,
Because
dude.
he had the meter for EX, like he had just gotten it, and so I thought that's what he was going for, and he messed up.
I don't
on
know.
that,
Maybe
but-
he tried EX, but he had been hit
Yeah.
confirming regular legs
Yeah.
the whole
The
time.
entire
Yeah.
time. That's right.
And like the cosmic
right.
beings aligned it so that the Twitch Supreme Chancellor of the Universe, it just missed, and then he killed him, and I was like, what? Like, I could not handle it. Like, afterwards, for like 5 minutes, I was still thinking about that whiff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, it was the craziest match. That was such a sick match. 2 players that I'm a super big fan of. And it's a really fun matchup to watch.
True.
Because 90% of it, Daigo's just getting hit by Fierce. And then he lands like some sweep or some Tatsu, and you're just like, oh my god. Don't do it, Daigo. Don't do the man dirty. But yeah, it was a 6 set.
Okay.
My number 1 was Saint versus Chanel at
Yeah.
Tekken 7.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
With
that was
the-
super good.
Global Grand Finals or whatever.
That was good.
That set was sick.
Yeah, I thought that was best. It was just the first of all, like, I really like watching Tekken 7. That's super cool, but just the back and forth of it, when it seemed like Saint was like he was just gonna get dunked.
Yeah.
And it was just gonna be like it's over. and the comeback, sort of like within the comeback that happened, I thought that was
It was
really
crazy.
He
remarkable.
beat him
So-
5 games straight, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when he started making the comeback.
So I didn't get this because I wasn't here obviously to talk about like the Tekken World like finals
Yeah.
thing. So like we were talking about like Saint playing Nobi, and it was like a bit of a thing because when Nobi went up to play, Saint wanted to play on a very specific Korean stick. Now normally they had never allowed this before. Normally you had to play on whatever was there, even if you were from a foreign country, and this was the first time they actually allowed it. That goes for the people who played on pad as well. So Anakin and whoever else got to play on pad, which goes for the European guys too, they actually played on pad, was actually allowed to play on pad. So when Saint went up there versus Nobi, the match he lost and put him in losers, he felt like he lost that match because he was not
playing
playing
on his own stick.
stick.
The interesting thing to note that maybe people don't know is that almost every Korean player that plays on like top player that plays on Korean stick has their own stick. Like they have their own, like Infiltration has his own specific brand of lever that only he plays on. Like that's like his thing that they're gonna sell. They're gonna start selling it. I heard, but yeah. So a lot of the Korean players play on their own.
Yeah.
Like it has its own specific like weight and like range and pull and stuff like that. So him
Yeah,
playing
we used
on
to do that back in the day.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if it came back.
So him not playing on his own stick is like it's a real thing
You
because
can
he's
count
used to like moving a certain way, and so like
Right.
So him pulling out the fact that he had to fight Nobi on the stick that wasn't his, loses that match to play Chanel on the actual working stick, which actually happened.
he played
at the
Nobi
event.
again. He played Nobi again,
yeah.
and he got to play on his
And
own
he got
stick.
to play on his own stick,
and he beat
that's when he
Nobi.
beat him. So no, that's you saying that match and then the touch and go back and forth and actually talking to Saint afterwards about it. He was like, "Yo, man, once the reset hit, it got dicey, but I was sure I was gonna win." Like that's what
Wow,
he said. He
okay.
said it got dicey.
Because
Didn't
even
look like
when
he
he
was
went
sure,
up,
man.
yeah, he was like,
Didn't look like he was sure.
yeah, exactly. So
Would you say that would have made your top 6?
Oh, that's definitely.
Is that in your top 6?
That's up there. That's
forgot
but
about
it was a.
I forgot about that.
I have so many
top
matches.
9?
Like there's a few. My
yeah,
top
if you gave
5
him
is
one
tied.
extra match, he would have 5 more matches.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
okay.
want to move on to the fighting game of the year? And we'll take a break after that.
You want to do a break after that then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. No problem.
Fighting game of the year.
Fighting game of the year was one of the hardest ones for me.
Yeah, this is a
because
super hard one to
I
do.
really honestly wanted to give it to like nothing. I just wanted to have an empty list.
Boy.
Because I was like, I'm so frustrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I'm
think that's one of the
super,
major
super
things.
frustrated right now. And my number 3 game is Street Fighter V.
Okay.
I put it on there only because of the 5,000 entrants, because of the Capcom Cup $230,000, 2 ESPN showings, all the stuff like
More like
that.
community stuff.
Right, but obviously just mind-blowing on problems. So like I really kind of wanted to make a statement and just not put it on the list at all, but the problem is
Boom!
it had
No thumbs up.
it had so much. It did so much during the course of the year that I couldn't not put on the list. So you know what? I'm just gonna put it at the very bottom of the list.
Okay. Fair enough.
So my number 3 game is Street Fighter V.
Okay.
My number 3 game is actually Killer Instinct.
Okay, good stuff.
Okay.
And
That's what
I'm
I'm talking
gonna
about.
say that because not because of Sejam here, but just because even though Killer Instinct has been out for a while now, I think it's the longest of the games that we're even like
just
remotely
came out in March.
playing. You know?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's I feel like
For you, dude.
you know,
Oh yeah, season 3 released in March. So
the fact that I feel like they have a better approach to balancing their game, the releasing of characters.
Kilgore came out today.
Yeah,
The
I would love to talk about that, but we
Yeah.
probably won't have time. So.
The fact that they're still releasing characters and they're giving you all these options, as well as how vocal a bunch of the devs are, you know, Keats and all those guys. I really like the fact that they try to get in with their community as well while making this game. Constant updates, constant addressing of stuff, the Shadow Lords mode being added in, the innovative characters that they put in. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of a bunch of the guest characters, I will say how innovative they play definitely makes the game
That's for
stand
sure.
out a lot more. And as good as I am not at that game, I really like to watch and still sort of kind of play Killer Instinct.
You can kind of fix that, you know. You're sitting next to a guy who's pretty good at the game.
I know, man. He's
So-
a busy guy, though, man. He's
Tasty Steve, his 3rd game of the year was Killer Instinct. My 3rd game of the year was Guilty Gear.
Ah,
Ooh.
lovers,
It's it's Guilty Gear because first of all, I love watching Guilty Gear. I'm such a big fan. But the main way it won me over this year was that it finally released on PC.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't even begin to explain how happy I am that Revelator's finally on PC. God damn, I am pleased with that. And I'm really just happy that the game is super sick to watch. I watch Guilty Gear Finals at like every event that it happens. I think the characters are all sick. Like the music, I listen to the music all the time.
Soundtrack's sick, no doubt.
Which is one thing I like
Looks
about KI a
beautiful.
lot also. Yeah, the game looks incredible. It's a super dope game. I'm really happy that they're finally releasing it on PC, and the hope is that if there's a new version or like a new Guilty Gear or whatever, that it keeps up to date on the PC release, and it would be crossplay. That's the dream.
Yeah.
That would be the dream. But
be
yeah,
nice.
Guilty Gear gets my number 3 spot. Super amazing game. Guilty Gear community is awesome, and I'm really happy with the game.
Okay.
All right, here's the text that I wrote. The subsection of Street Fighter V where you're in a match playing against other persons offline, not the part before that or the part between games where you have to give a thumbs up or playing online, but the actual gameplay, I will give 3rd place.
Damn, just to the gameplay alone. You just validated one of my choices by doing that.
Yeah.
Like, and we'll
That's
get
it.
to that.
Yeah.
That's very similar to kind of what
Yeah, I thought about saying KI as well, but I put that in other categories instead.
Okay.
My 2nd place game of the year is, in fact, Guilty Gear Revelator. Mostly because that's how you put out a game.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Like, you put out a game, unlocking things is fun. Even the fishing is, like, fun. I don't know why it's fun, but it is. But, like, the tutorials, they have an FAQ built in the game. They have options. Dude, I just saw that they actually track how many hours you spend in training mode. I didn't even know that was a thing, because someone tweeted out a picture from FAB, and it was, like, 146 days and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, my
of, like, training
God.
mode. Yeah, not even exaggerating.
lab
it was
man right there.
146 days or something like that. And so, like, that's
Play a
how,
better
like,
character, man. 146
I know.
days with a good
Yeah, I know,
character,
right?
you'd be destroying the universe.
The tutorial is super
Tutorial's
good.
great.
The training stuff is super good. The training mode is good, and of course, I just love the game. I've always loved the game. I'm shite at it right now, and I really want to get better at it. But it is. I've always loved Guilty Gear, and so I just from that and the fact that it's such a beautiful pack. Like, I mean, this was obviously last year. But man, the freaking demo was
Oh, that
a full
was the
game,
best thing.
That's right, yeah.
That was so good.
Ridiculous.
The
so.
demo for Revelator
Well,
is
the
better
pre-order
than
bonus.
it's better than anything Street Fighter
Yeah,
did.
uh-huh.
Yeah, the
Oh.
demo is 100% better.
Like, seriously, like, come on.
It's number 2.
My number 2 is Guilty Gear as well. Like,
That's what I'm talking about.
it has to be. I mean, with all those things, like, on top of the fact that, just the way the game kind of resurged, like, out of nowhere. It was like on a 15-year hiatus or something. And it was like, new game. And it was like, can it be that good? And then you see it, and you're like, Jesus, that's beautiful. And then you're playing it, and you're like, Jesus, that's beautiful. And then they're like, they give you the game, and you're like, I get the demo of the game that's not even out yet. You guys are amazing. You know,
Yeah.
so...
They just added this figure mode, which people are like making memes and
Yeah,
comics
dude,
out of,
like,
dude.
it's
so
so
sick.
much, especially coming from a game that's tradition. I feel like as a package overall, when it comes to the newer games that are released, Guilty Gear is by far top 2, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's back, it looks good. They made updates make a lot more sense. Them patching the game makes more sense. They gave you the DLC characters for free, so even if you didn't buy the game and you might buy it later, you can already have it. I mean, like, the
Put it on
package
PC.
of that game alone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
too good.
it's too good. So it definitely gets my number 2. And of course, you know, I mean, I'm kind of biased, but I do love Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
And I haven't even got my character back, and it still got number 2. So
now we
something
have
to think
to
about.
kiss now, right?
My number 2, Tekken 7 FR.
Okay.
Available to play at a lot of different events this year. For the US, out in Japanese arcades, which, you know, some people have played on. Lots of people, I mean, obviously can do that, but yeah, super happy about that. The game had a full Tekken tour this year
Yes.
on an unreleased game. It
Yes.
looks amazing. It's the most beautiful fighting game out there, maybe besides
Slow-mo, huh?
Revelator. Slow-mo is the best invention for any fighting game, spectator-wise,
man.
of all time. Before this slow-mo was in, Tekken was kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
I think a pretty dry game sometimes, right? It was tough. I think now it's probably the best spectator game in all fighting games. I think it's just the best spectator game now. Tekken 7 is too good. So all those things, and hopefully They said a console release date being announced this month, I think, right?
So they said February.
February.
Yeah,
so
or something.
I mean,
like
it'll
that,
come
yeah.
out eventually, 2019
Right.
maybe, something like that, or whatever it is, 2025.
I mean,
Tekken 7 FR will come out on
The
consoles.
fact that it had a successful
It had a
tour,
Tekken tour when it's not even out in the US.
right, when it's not out is pretty impressive to be able to
Yeah.
have all that happen.
So
for
to
that
me,
game.
Tekken 7 FR gets my number 2 spot.
Yeah, it does for me as well. That's my number 2 as well.
Okay.
Sick game, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick game.
Beautiful,
Akuma.
awesome game. Can't wait for it to come out.
Akuma, oh man. Oh, Mark says it will be January.
Oh, it will be January.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tekken
Do you have
7.
anything to add to
I
Tekken
think
7?
that was nicely stated.
Okay.
Akumer.
Akuma.
Akuma.
He's fun, dude. He looks better in Tekken than he does in Street
I
Fighter.
don't know, he sure does, man.
They
Yeah,
spent their
for
time
sure.
on that character. Did you
He
guys
was
hear
pretty-
the voice of
Yeah.
Akuma at Japan?
Yeah.
That was the hypest thing ever.
I
dude.
can't believe his voice.
Yeah, I also saw the video where I heard Steve
Yeah,
from the crowd.
And the whole crowd is dying laughing
Oh,
at this
man.
guy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And the best
The
part...
mics, man, they muffle. I can't tell.
Yeah, dude,
how-
another thing about that, we were in the crowd watching, and Anakin at one point did this baseball slide with Jack. The dumbest move, and it gets him killed, right? Like, it's like the stupid clutch moment, and he does the baseball slide, and Rip was so pissed. From the crowd, he yelled, "Go back to America!" Like, at Anakin, and the Japanese crowd loses it. They were dying. They're laughing so hard. Got Rip, he's like, "Go back to America, you idiot!" And I was like, oh my god. So between that and Steve popping off, that made the Tekken 7 finals
Yeah.
thing. It was too good.
It's like I said, I mean, a lot of people are saying in the chat, like, it can't be Game of the Year because obviously it's not out yet, but, like...
It's
it
out.
was-
It's just
they
not
did
accessible to most people.
They did such
it's
a
out.
good job to let people play it, though, because it was available in a lot of
It was
different
available in
places.
a
I mean,
lot
like,
of
it's
places.
absurd that it's taken as long as it has.
Right,
I don't know what
right.
the deal is back
But
there,
the
but
game
it
was
definitely is
beautiful,
silly.
and
But
I-
it is out. It's
Right.
like available.
I do echo
Just not to most people.
one of
Yeah.
your statements, though, is that it's so much fun to watch now.
Super
Like,
fun.
Agreed.
I have never been able to watch Tekken before. In fact, you know, Tekken fans out there are going to kill me for saying this, but like Tekken was my let's take a nap or go rest during Evo
Oh,
time,
man.
you know, or
And a
like
good
go
4
do
hours to
something
go
else.
sleep,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
A lot of
so-
people did that.
Yeah,
It's not,
so-
you're not alone.
Hurts my heart, guys.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
true, though. A lot
sorry.
of
I'm
people did
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry, but
Now you got me.
yeah.
Now I'm watching low soccer kicks and mock punches and
Oh man.
So
running
what was your
twos.
game of the
What's
year?
your-
Okay,
number
so
one?
my number one game of the year is Tekken 7. So
Ah,
I put
Ooh.
Tekken 7
we
up
basically
there.
all have the same top 2, I guess. All right.
Because that game is beautiful, that game is just super cool, and like you said, it's just everything they've added to it has turned it from
Right.
something that was I have so much hope for Tekken 7 to be able to bring Tekken back to its former glorious status
Right,
right.
in the States and everything, and it's a beautiful game, and maybe I'm doing this a lot on potential, but look, I watched Master Cup last year. I
Yes.
watched Tekken 7, the World Cup this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of it was super hype. I'm so hyped for this game. I'm gonna be shite in this game too,
Oh.
but I'll still try it, and I definitely
teach you
will do my
Akuma.
best to learn. So there you go.
Can't wait to play Jack. Yeah.
Jack's good.
That's my dude.
Speaking of,
Debugging people. Anyway.
Tekken 7 is definitely my game
Yeah.
of the year.
Yeah,
Now,
there it is.
With everything being said, if someone else had said it, I would have immediately I would have just glazed over this and act like it would not have been a thing. But the fact that what pushed Tekken 7 over the other games for me was the way it was set up by the people who created the game.
Yeah.
The fact that they had this tour. And not only was this tour just for show, it wasn't for publicity. I mean, it was obviously because that's what comes with it. But the fact is that it did exactly what it was set out to do, which was close that gap of international competition, which has historically plagued almost every fighting game, but one of exclusively is the Tekken franchise. You had Korea, you had Japan, that always stood out above everybody. Now, the main reason that happened was because people felt like we didn't get access to the game soon enough for it to make a difference. Not Tekken 7, not this time. The fact that they had the Wizard World Tours and the Tekken Tour that all kind of rounded up in this event itself was the smartest thing in the world. Because now you have people able to play the game. Even though it was not available everywhere. It's kind of like those movies that wins like Academy Awards, but they're only in select screenings. It's the exact same thing. It doesn't mean it's any good. Like it's
Sundance Music Festival.
Yeah,
plays
Sundance Music.
That was the best analogy.
I'm just
That
saying,
was
that's how
good
you
shit,
look. That's
good
how I
shit.
saw it. I was just
That's
like,
fair.
you might not be able to play this game, but
Right.
word of mouth is going to tell you just how good this game is.
Right.
That's not including what they're still doing to an arcade version of the game. They just announced like the characters get special rage arts and customizations.
Oh, yeah, King's new
and
rage art
King
looks
has
so
the Rainmaker
sick.
from New
Yeah,
Japan Pro Wrestling,
Oh,
and
it's
the
so
money
good.
reigns. That is
It's so
crazy.
good.
That is so. And you,
Pretty sick, man.
that's
Club.
small. That's
The Bullet Club
small.
shirts?
They get Bullet Club shirts, dude.
For Jack and Brian, it's pretty good.
Cross promotion is one of the major things that sells one. Most amazingly is the fact that this is a customization thing that affects the players because you get to personalize those characters on an arcade front. And I know to some people it looks crazy, especially if you don't play the game. Like, items look crazy, but that is very specific to a game that is only available in arcades and something you have to think about while playing the game.
Right.
But overall, Tekken 7, Fate of Retribution, Game of the Year.
Like, I loved watching Akuma in the little
The
little,
floaty thing, the
floaty
duck,
little
the rubber
And
duck.
the shower, you mean?
Yo, with the shower?
raging demon shower?
And,
That's
oh,
hilarious.
the demon shower? That's
That's
crazy, man.
Or like when Nobi has the
the
shower on
demon
Dragon
shower,
Ball, and
when he has it, he's like, oh man, it's
I think
sick.
that's great.
Like you don't get that. You don't get
I'm
that
all
kind
for
of
that.
customization from other games.
It'd be nice
anymore.
if it still said the character name on it.
Yeah,
but, like,
so that's
okay,
yeah.
console version it'll be easier.
Dude,
but-
I even get, like, I was streaming Street Fighter, and, like, Alex showed up in some costume, and I was like, what the hell character is that? Like, I'm not a fan of the costumes, but I definitely love the game.
Yeah,
so.
I like the personalization aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's important to me too.
My #1 game of the year,
Mhm.
Killer Instinct Season 3.
Okay.
That is my game of the year. It's actually it's in a tie. I'll get to what it's tied with in a second. Killer Instinct was
these
Dude,
new
it's
these
hot.
new
Hold on,
ones.
hold on.
So these
These
new kids.
rules here.
no, but yeah, Killer Instinct Season 3 Game of the Year. They released. It's super cheap to get the whole game. They had it like $40. You get all the characters. It's over 20 characters, including all the guests and everything like that. I mean, it's out. It's available on PC. It runs like a dream. Netcode
That's true.
is 10 out of 10. By far, no other fighting game besides maybe Skullgirls and MK have even comparable netcode now.
Yeah.
Like before, and
I still
MK had
think
to
KI
fix
is the
theirs.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, I still think KI is the best too. Skullgirls is awesome.
Yeah. For
The
sure.
game is out of control good. I'm super happy with it. They just announced today Kilgore came out, and they have a new half the money that you spend on Kilgore goes to tournament prize pool for
That's so
2017.
Capless.
Yeah,
Yes.
with no cap.
Capless.
No cap. It
Yeah.
can be as much
So,
money
yep.
as you want.
Yeah.
So if you
They
can
said-
buy Kilgore 17 times in 17 different accounts, and it'll all go.
They
Well,
all go.
Keats in their little stream mentioned that there are 6 million people who have KI accounts,
Yes.
and that if they all bought it, then that would end up with $30 million for the tour.
Yep.
Holy crap!
But that's
I mean-
what you have to think. KI
It
is
might not be likely, but like
no.
still, that possibility.
KI
pretty
is like
crazy.
in the top 5 most downloaded games on Xbox
Right.
One. Like it's like one of their most popular things. It's
For
a
sure.
super awesome game, really easy to get into. In-game tutorial is fantastic. The game feels awesome online. It's hard to say enough good things about it. They're adding costumes finally. That was a big complaint people had about cosmetics. Like the game is fantastic. It's available on PC now. It's too good. This thing is such an amazing game, and I played it today for the first time in a while, and I was like, man, the netcode is amazing.
It's
It
so
feels
good, for
so
sure.
good to play online and
Yeah.
actually have good connections
For sure.
and not feel upset about stuff. Somebody jumped at me and I uppercut them, and I was like,
You can see it, right?
What? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what just happened? I just uppercut you from downtown. I'm throwing
Right.
low tiger shots and high tiger shots and with Kilgore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, it's
He's a
too
cool
good.
character.
The thing it was tied with was not Street Fighter 5.
Uh-huh.
That was gonna be my #1 choice, but I was
Uh-huh.
like, I should actually give it to a game.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was gonna be my #1, and I was gonna just have KI and whatever, but I was like, I'll just give it to KI.
Right.
Yeah, my number 3 being that part of Street Fighter 5 that
Right.
whatever. I wanted to make that joke. That was why I did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it really should have gone to KI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'm
Your #1 was Tekken also, right?
No, my
Your
number
number
2
two
was
was
Tekken.
Tekken.
Oh, so
Actually,
yeah.
what
My
is
#1
your
is
My
Guilty
number 1
Gear.
is Guilty Gear. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
Guilty
okay.
Gear, Yeah. It's like it's the only game that nobody complains about. Like
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's
That's
true.
true. Like if you think about all the major games, there's something wrong with it.
Right.
Like everybody,
Uh-huh.
whether it's that the game is bad or the game outside of the gameplay is bad, or maybe you don't like how it looks, or maybe you think it's boring, or maybe you think it gets patched too often, or whatever. Like nobody has bad things to say about Revelator.
Damn,
And
that's true.
I don't really play it, but like hats off to them for that. You know, I'm really impressed. It's beautiful to watch. I love watching it. The reason I don't play it is that I respect. This is really true. I respect it too much to think that I can half-ass it. It looks like the kind of game that I would really have to like spend a lot of time
Yeah.
to play,
Right.
sort of like be competent at. And I'd rather play like lots of games than like focus in on the one. But
Yeah.
You know-
the game itself it's great.
You know what's crazy? This is just like small tidbit. I don't know what it adds to what you just said. So I played Nage at Evo in my pool, right? Now he beat me, but one of the things I noticed that I didn't find out why they did it was the fact that they play on they play at a slower speed. So they
put
go,
their input
they
lag
put the
one
input
frame
lag
higher,
like
yeah.
higher, and I didn't know until I went to Japan and I started playing in arcades that it's definitely slower in arcades. So the fact that they were conscious enough to say, well, we know that this is a thing, and it's been a thing since like the PS2 era, where it's like the game was always faster on console. The fact that they thought about that, as well as like all those other things with the tutorials and whatnot, like that says a lot to me. So like, yeah,
They
awesome.
care. They care. So.
It's clear.
All right.
Alrighty.
Okay, so take a break time then, and then when we come
let's take
back,
a break.
we'll go to the next category, which is which is non-Evo event of the year, I should say.
There you go.
Okay, we'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back. I'm just gonna sit here and watch this for a while, dude. I'm
What?
just gonna watch these finger
The
guns
hands.
for a while.
Oh, the finger guns.
Oh, the raining bullets.
Boom, boom. I love that when you were doing the JRPG when we were fighting the final boss.
You had the finger guns?
Yeah.
I had the whip.
Yeah. Come back. That was pretty good.
He looks so. Look at him. Oh man, bad breath. Everybody's gonna get sick. Doom cast.
I'm going home and taking Airborne.
Gross.
Hello, welcome back to Ultra Chen TV and our 2016 year in review. We've gone through Player of the Year, Match of the Year, and Fighting Game of the Year. What's next?
Next is going to be Storyline of the Year.
I thought it was Event of the
Oh,
Year.
you're
Definitely
right.
supposed to be Event of the
Sorry,
Year.
you're right. It is Event of the Year. Now, every year we make the stipulation that we do not include Evo in this list.
Yeah.
It is
Fair enough.
non-Evo event
Fair
of the year
enough.
because Evo is typically the biggest event for all of fighting game community. So
Right.
we're going to talk about our non-Evo event of the year.
Mhm.
And so this one I largely looked at it from a personal standpoint.
Right.
So third place for me was actually Red Bull Kumite.
Oh, okay.
Because I got to go to France.
For
Right?
sure,
I
that's
mean,
fair,
it
for
was
sure.
it was so cool, and the fact that I got to go to France, you know,
That's a
it was
big
just
one,
like
man.
it was just such a great experience. I'm very grateful for Red Bull for having, you know, flown us out there for that. And it was also the first time that we really started getting into this whole Red Bull production kind of thing, and it was really interesting and educational from that
That's true, yeah.
standpoint. But yeah, we got to go to Paris, so I
Yeah.
also got to see the Eiffel Tower. So like that's number 3.
That's
for
pretty
me.
good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Well, I would say number 3 event of the year for me, Red Bull Battlegrounds. Now, for me, it's different because I feel like this is one of the first instances, at least in my case, where I felt like when it came to community involvement, like there was nothing bigger. Like not even Evo's. Even if we included it, I feel like this would be one of the biggest because we had so much variety of. First off, the player variety was ridiculous. That was first and foremost. Two, the event itself was set up to be very set around the friendly, everybody come hang out, look how this is done tone of the FGC. I feel like there was no changes other than adding to.
Right.
So it was
Yeah, it was very community
we had
heavy,
the FGC and it was everybody who's ever ran an event in the FGC was
Yeah.
there, and then it was just let's
everybody who's ever commentated was there.
exactly,
Yeah.
and then it was
15 commentators.
if
there.
you remove
Yeah, it was
that,
awesome,
they
yeah.
still had the VIP area, and I was like, oh, that's so sick to me that they actually allowed that. So it's like that, and it's competition, it's the actual the venue, the thing itself, as well as you said earlier, the variety of commentary that was there.
Yeah.
I felt like that was one of the most diverse events when it came to production, as well as making it a scene heavy event than almost
I
any
gotta tell
other.
you, I strongly considered putting that in, but decided not to because I thought that the placement of seeds was absurd, like Knuckle Dew versus
Yeah.
the first round, and the whole qualification process was so.
Right.
I didn't even. It was too silly to even learn for me. So I decided not to because of those two things. But the actual event, otherwise, I thought it was fantastic.
Rebel Battlegrounds also my third.
Okay.
For the same kind of reasons. I thought it was a really fun event to be at. They brought out everyone. In terms
Yeah,
of
that was
production and commentary and stuff like that, it was really cool.
Right.
There was
Different
tons of
regions
matches.
represented.
Yeah, there were
Yeah.
so many different people there. It was a lot of fun for us to do, I think. I really enjoyed it. It's also a place I really like. Seattle's super fun to visit.
Okay.
So I like Seattle a lot. So to me, I thought that was the number 3. event for me. I just thought it was like an event that I was looking forward to doing, and then when I went and did it, I had a ton of fun.
Okay.
And so, like, to me, that's what I'm looking for in an event. Super fun. Everybody was there that I wanted to hang out with. The reveal at the end was awesome. The match was really good. Knuckle-Doo winning at the end was great. Like, when I think about that event, I'm
Knuckle-Doo's parents were there?
I'm always happy about
That's
it.
right. Yeah, his family was
It was such a cool event.
Wait, weren't all the matches streamed or something crazy like that?
For
Yeah, they were
top
because they were
16.
streamed on.
You and I remember had that 5-hour block of
Logical
commentary.
and-
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good time. I didn't really mind it too
And then
much.
they did the last 2 hours.
Yeah, I know, right?
Weirdly done, but all right.
My third was also Red Bull Kumite.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was
okay,
like one of
nice.
those. Yeah, I mean, going to France was great, but on top of that, I thought that it was like a nice blending of the esports and the community stuff. So like day one was an open tournament, anybody could enter. It was run by I think the people who do Stunfest,
Oh, okay.
if I recall correctly. But in any case, they were people who like have long-time FGC organizers, and they ran a really great tournament. Like it was really run well. They had a lot of good players there. And then you got to the esports side afterward once you had like the whole top 16 nailed down.
Yeah.
And that too was like really super well done. I thought that the production of it was awesome, and they again got different people to commentate and to rep it, which I thought was great.
I think both Red Bull events that we talked about are pretty similar in that regard.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect blend of esportsiness and
Yeah.
non-esportsiness.
And funny enough, not just because they flew me out to France, but my number 2 is the Red Bull actually proving grounds. I'm
Oh.
going to say the proving grounds because I really liked what it did.
Yeah.
I really liked what it did.
You mean like the whole proving grounds, right?
Well, that one event that was taking place
Oh, okay.
in Santa Monica, because the cool thing about it was we had the 3 players from all the different areas and 1 from Canada.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was really cool because we got to see a lot of players that we normally didn't get to see.
Yep, that's
You
true.
know, and, you know, I'm kind of cheating here because I know that they want to expand it next year. They even advertised it just recently on the ESPN broadcast,
Right.
Capcom Cup, that they're doing more and more cities. So to me, I just really like what that's doing. It's giving other communities a chance to shine because
Right.
the hardest thing, and obviously this is very Street Fighter V centric so far, but like the thing that is cool to me is that there are so many scenes all over the place. There's so many good players, and it's always just been SoCal, NorCal, New York, SoCal,
That's
NorCal,
true.
New York, a little bit of Midwest here and there. But that we actually got all these different scenes, and hopefully it will be expanded next year. I just really liked what it was able to show and able to showcase, give these players a chance to shine.
That's true. That's true.
Stevie Boy.
Oh, okay. So I have a two-way tie. But wait. Look.
Big one.
But and now the thing is, they're in the same game. To be 100% fair.
Okay.
So my two-way tie for second place is Last Chance Quals for Tekken, as well as the Asia Finals for Tekken.
Okay.
Only because like I've never seen or I've been in a tournament that lasted 15 hours. Like in one, like that's not a real thing. On top of that, it was just the fact that it
First day
was
of
so
Capcom
much on the line for them to get this. That was their last shot to make it out. That's one thing. But the Asia Finals, looking at them, it was held in Bandai Namco's building. So you had a floor of nothing but Tekken 7 arcades. And they had it set up between the junior division, they had the women's division,
right.
and then they had the
That's right.
main sect of it. And when I tell you, like, I got to go around and watch other people play, and for them to try to grind, it was like a workhouse. People were in there going to town just to get through, and they had a single limb up until top 16 for all those for every tournament. So
brutal.
that was ridiculous. On top of that, being built up to it. So yes, I have a two-way tie for Tekken Last Chance Quals and Asia Finals for Tekken 7 Fatal Retribution.
Shout outs to one Richard Kuklinski here who has subscribed for 16 months in a row.
Jesus. That's crazy.
Richard Kuklinski, let's
He
go.
said any word as to when Tekken 7 is coming out in the States? Markman said that they're going to announce the date this month.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's in January.
That's all we got.
So you're here this month. Number 2 event of the year for me was CEO.
Okay.
My first time ever going to CEO was this year. And like to me, there was like issues with like the tournament, right? And like the heat in the place was out of control. I was dying in there.
Right.
And like it was there's audio issues on the Rumble. But to me, I can't think of a FGC event that was not held in like any FGC event, actually, a grassroots event that was even close to the same kind of spectacle that CEO.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when I think
Like
about
Kenny
CEO,
Omega and Xavier Woods.
not even just that, like the intros for like the finals and
yeah.
the ring and like all that kind of stuff. When I think of like, I can't think of an event that was a bigger spectacle to just watch as a spectator.
Right.
Like it was crazy, right? Like it was such a wild event to just be there and see. It was actually crazy. So yeah, to me, CEO, it was my first time ever being there. There were some issues with stuff, but like I just think that like Mandalay Bay or like super crazy arena, I can't think of anything that gets even that close in terms of like spectacle and the players that are there. There's always such a crazy talent. So yeah,
entertainment factor kind of thing. Right?
yeah,
So.
it's such a unique event to be. And I'm not even a wrestling fan, but when people are getting in that ring and like they're doing their intros and stuff, I'm like, all right, this is pretty sick.
Yeah, I don't care about wrestling either, but that was also my number 2.
Yeah.
CEO.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's been in my top 2 for the last 3 years.
Right.
And I did feel like there were some issues with it this year compared to previous years, as you mentioned. But still, even with that, I felt that the pros like very strongly outweighed the whatever negatives there were. Like I don't care about wrestling, but they asked me to commentate like wrestler versus wrestler in Street Fighter 5.
You did a good job.
I was like, okay.
You sounded like an old timey boxer
You
on
did.
there.
You did.
It was like Jiminy Crickets, man. We've got a match here. And this corner. I was like, oh man, he's doing a great job.
I thought it was really fun, man. It was really funny to do it because like Mike doesn't either. You know?
Yeah.
It was me and Mike Ross anyway.
He did a good job too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it went really well. That was really fun. And there's always like the pool party, and there's people I get to see there that are nice.
Yeah,
It's all good.
CEO was pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say if not 5, it was probably 6 on my list. No,
Okay.
no,
He's
that's
got
been.
It was tied for 4th
Yeah.
with 4
There you
other
go, there
events.
you
With
go,
4
there
other
you go.
events. Right?
All right, so number 1 event of the year.
So number 1 event of the year.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we all
Everybody's
all
got
have
the
the
same
same
one.
We've all got the same
Wrong.
one.
Oh, James, Mr. Contrary.
Shout outs to the Huddle. Combo Breaker was an amazing event. I love the event as much as possible, but I have to give my favorite event was Canada Cup.
Really?
Interesting.
Canada Cup
Whoa.
this year because I'm biased and ST.
Okay, yeah.
And they had the 3 guests from Japan. I got to commentate the
That's
top
right.
8 of that.
That was
The
sick.
team tournament was sick. That was also the event where Knuckle Dew won the
That's
first
right.
time, and it was
Okay.
super hype. That was where Phenom dunked Daigo 5 times in a row. It was just super cool to me, and I even got to do commentary for Vampire Savior as well. Although
That's
I did
right.
I did do commentary at Combo Breaker.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I did
I'm pretty
do
sure they
commentary
had
at Combo
VSAC
Breaker
on the
as
big
well.
screen.
But ST was super special to me, and look, I tell everybody that if it's not EVO, the event that you have to go to is Combo Breaker.
Okay.
Right.
Because that is the most special, that is pretty much like the most special event outside of that. But
Yeah.
again, like I said, this is kind of on a personal slant for me, and just being able to do that ST and going nuts when like freaking, shoot, I can't get the name right now. The Kusumundo did that roundhouse, and it looked like he went through the
Through the
fireball.
glitch
Like everyone
fireball,
went
yeah.
nuts. Yeah, like that was just too much fun. I had a lot of fun up there, and then of course Lapchi just knows how to throw a party and everything like that. So I had a really good time there.
So us 3.
Everybody else in
Yeah,
Combo Breaker.
exactly.
Combo
All 3 of us have Combo Breaker.
No question asked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Combo Breaker has the
yeah.
best event.
Like I thought that was like clearly the number 1.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
that it
Like,
was-
I'm
it was
sorry.
Like,
Like-
I didn't need to have a second
So-
or third place. It was
Yeah.
like here's
Right, right.
Combo Breaker.
So
Yeah.
when you guys said CEO, like you guys said CEO, and I was just like, if this was last year for me, I would have said CEO free. So CEO actually probably would have been my number 1 because 1, that was my first one, and then on top of that, just like you said, the spectacle as well as just being there and watching, it's such a good time.
Right.
But like when I put any tournament, and that goes for any tournament, when I compare it to Combo Breaker like actually changed my
Right.
life. Like the everything about that tournament was sick.
Yeah.
Even if I was not commentating top 8 with Say Jam, the way that was
right.
set up, like that was ridiculous. That doesn't even include the competition for it not to be a ranking event, and you had some of the best
It wasn't ranking,
competition.
it wasn't a
It wasn't
premiere.
It wasn't a premiere. I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah, it wasn't a
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Then you had a 24-hour venue for maximum practice.
so sick.
Everything about that
And, like,
tournament was
it-
sick.
it-
That was not a bad thing about that tournament.
It gave love to VSAT being on the big screen. Skullgirls was up there.
Right.
Like
Every game had main stage, had stage finals. because there's 5 stages.
Yeah. I thought that the MK was super sick.
Oh, yeah,
I was
so
like
good.
all the games.
Every tournament
Every
was
game was
good.
really
It
good.
was sick.
Yeah, I finally
Even
saw
the
it.
team
Every game was
tournaments
really
were
good.
sick.
I am incredibly biased for Combo Breaker.
The venue was
Ditto.
sick.
Like
Because everything about 24-hour venue, I love.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I ate way too much deep dish pizza, which I love. It was an event where, for the first time ever, I got Street Fighter V finals at a super big event and Killer Instinct finals. So I got KI
right,
and
yeah.
Street Fighter Top 8, which has never happened at another big event ever. I've never gotten both of those. So I couldn't be happier about the event,
Yeah,
just on a personal
for
level.
sure.
So to me, that was like
Yeah.
anything I would want in a tournament. Combo Breaker has it, and there's
Yeah.
no reason for me to ever miss it.
Also, I get to hang out with my great aunt Isabel, who lives in Chicago. So
Oh,
I always look forward to going to
and
Chicago.
Yeah,
Izzy?
you get to hang out with the family.
Aunt
That's
Izzy?
right.
Oh man, Aunt Izzy. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's 94.
Damn.
Maybe, yeah.
She is hanging in there. That's what I like
She
to
is.
see,
That's
man.
why it's important to me to always go to whatever the
Yeah.
Chicago
Okay,
tournament is. I've
okay,
been going to
okay.
UFGT and now Combo Breaker for probably like 6 years.
Mm.
And it started in large part because I like wanted to go to Chicago, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come to the thing?" And I was like, "Sure, let's all do both of these."
Right.
And now, because of that, my family, like my parents had been going anyway, but they went like at sporadic times during the year. Now we like make it a specific thing to like have the family go to Chicago that weekend because I'm gonna be there anyway.
Yeah.
So like my brothers go, other cousins go from like New York and
That's
wherever,
awesome.
and now we all meet up in Chicago because of the Chicago majors
Right,
being.
right.
Dude,
That's so.
Lupe Fiasco was there. I
That's
met
right,
my
that's
new
right.
I got to
extended
talk-
family.
I
That
got to
was
talk
sick.
trash on him.
Oh yeah.
In top 8, I was about how Midwest was free.
Yeah, that's
That was
true.
pretty good.
Oh man, Mikey Rocks was there. Like everything about
They
that
delivered
tournament was
us
sick.
Giordano's while we were on commentary for top
Got
8,
pizza on commentary.
which Yipes immediately stole.
Dude,
Oh,
I
he
mean, like,
bodied it, yeah.
is it like you can't even eat that many slices? So
No,
it's like,
that is
it's
dangerous.
like,
I'm gonna
please
tell you
take
right
a
now,
slice.
it's dangerous.
Please
Do
take
not
a slice. You know,
Yeah,
that
it's
much
not-
Giordano.
It's not like
Dude,
that. It's not like that weak New York stuff. You
everyone
just
says the
shovel
same
it in, it
thing.
doesn't
Like
even
when
matter.
they said, like James,
all sorts of floppy ears
James.
coming in your mouth.
you're only gonna eat like 2 slices. I'm
Yeah,
like,
2
how is
slices
that
is my
even
max.
possible?
Yeah,
with
like
pizza,
you look
right?
at the order and you're like, okay, a small or a medium
Right,
or like I typically eat like this many slices, or maybe a medium.
Right,
No, you need the extra small.
Yeah,
For just yourself, yeah,
Yeah, you need the extra small for yourself.
So-
Yeah, I had to warn Jeremy about that when we went to get deep dish here. I was like, I got a 2-slice limit.
Right, right.
Even if I'm super hungry and I can eat the 3rd slice, it's not good for your body. You hit a limit.
You definitely only need like 4 people. Definitely could eat 1 large deep dish
Right,
pizza.
yeah.
Like that's all you need.
Like I've never even ordered a large. I've been to dinner with my family in Chicago at Giordano's, and I think we ordered a medium.
Oh man.
Yeah. Combo Breaker is 3 of our events
Anyway.
a year for a reason.
Yep. All
right.
right.
What do we got next?
Story of the year.
Story of the
Story
year.
of the
This
year.
could be any kind of interesting storyline that you thought was particularly remarkable,
Right.
having to do with anything.
So
Okay.
my
In
number
FGCs.
3 story was Knuckle 2 winning Capcom Cup.
Okay.
Basically being one of the first times that a US player was able to accomplish something to that extent at an EVO or a Capcom Cup. Again, you know, going back to what I had talked about earlier, just what I know that he went through during the year and everything like that, and I just thought it was a great overall story of what happened with his life, and I just think it's super significant as well. It's also really telling, though, to show what happens when you release a game not in Japan first, and not. I mean, obviously they were hurt actually because there's no arcade release for the game.
Right.
So you know, to have Knuckle Do come and win that, I thought was the 3rd biggest story of the year.
Okay.
Stevie Boy.
I would say just Knuckle Dude's performance is the story. So
Okay.
kind of the
Yeah.
same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the fact that like, and this is going strictly off of like him as a person. Like if you could chronicle the year of 2016 for Knuckle Dude, like there's ups and downs, there's tears, there's triumph, like there's everything, and
like-
then there's video games.
Yeah.
Like and I'm like, wow, this is godlike. Like I want to read this in a book. So like,
Right.
number 3, 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt, definitely like Knuckle Dude's 2016 like campaign, you know.
Okay.
My number 3 is L.I. Joe Top 8 at Evo.
Okay.
Mhm.
Which is a
Good
super big story. I can't even believe this is number 3. Like, I feel like that's such a big thing
Right,
to happen,
right.
and it was such an awesome moment for USFGC in general, and just like L.I. Joe, that was such a sick thing. His dad was there, like Mandalay
Amazing
Bay.
story.
It was such a crazy story just to
Right.
see it. Like it was like a movie. It was like so made up, right? It was like there's no way that could actually
He's like always been a good player,
Yeah.
but like he top 8 at Evo, all of a sudden like you wouldn't have predicted
and, like,
it. But
people probably weren't even expecting him to win one game in top 8.
Yeah.
Like they were just figuring he would go one and
Bust
done.
her out,
and he was
right?
Still able to.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like if I saw it in a movie, I'd be like, oh, yeah, of course he makes top 8.
Yeah.
Like
his
it's like
dad shows up.
yeah,
But then you
of
still
course
care,
his dad-
like, you guys can do
it's
it.
like his dad is there, like I'd be
Right.
like, man, it's such a cliche movie.
Yeah,
right? Like
I know,
it's like,
right?
oh, but
Yeah,
you know.
you'd still be into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd still get you.
Against impossible odds in a world. There's 7 foreign players, all of them amazingly better than you, Joe. He's like climbing up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it for America. Da-da-da, you know, like
Think back.
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
Long Island Joe.
Okay. My 3 are all kind of related. The first one is just how terrible Street Fighter V's launch was. I think that's a major story because it could have been so obviously gigantic, right? It could have been.
All
it could
3
have
of
been
your
so
stories going to be about how Street Fighter 5 sucks.
big. Of course, kind of.
I got a circle
like building off of it. Sort of.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
This
okay,
is like
okay.
this is like the trunk, and then we'll have some branches. Later.
Okay.
But yeah, the trunk is just how terrible it was. It's like unprecedented. I feel for like something to have in the FGC to have that level of expectation, and then to just take the dump that it took was like insane to me.
David's
I couldn't
hand
believe
talking
it.
was so
Right.
good. He was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, man, it's Street Fighter. We expect." I felt like you were giving a review of an employee after a 30-day. You're like, "Look, I expected you to come in here and be doing all kinds of amazing things for me, but then you got Guilty Gear sitting right there, and he just hasn't been late the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing, Street Fighter
Exactly,
5?
yeah,
Street Fighter
I
5.
expected more.
Your heart
It's a
sucks.
hard-headed Street Fighter
Street
5.
Fighter 5 played by Jason. No good employee.
Yeah, it's just it was so disappointing compared to what it could have been, and it's, Capcom's like release before that, its recent release was Cross Tekken, and then you had to think like, okay, they learned from the mistakes of Cross Tekken, right? And then they do this.
It went
so.
worse.
It was worse.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one of the big stories here.
My number 2, unfortunately, is an ongoing story, and the only reason why I have it here is because it just never seems to go away. But it really is the Smash versus FGC. So
Oh,
this is
interesting.
just a story that just people keep talking about, and like, despite all my efforts to like be like, dude, we can all get along, we can all be friends, I just don't feel like it's gonna happen. Like, I feel like the separation is coming because like, I just like the people's attitudes are, and it's getting exacerbated by the things that people say.
Yeah.
People are like, Smash sucks, whatever, blah, it's a party game, blah, blah. And then you have the Smash people like, they don't care, like we built the FGC, kind of thing. And it's just like, stop, like, come on, like we can do this, we can get along. I want it to work, and I'm trying so hard to make sure, like, to do what I can to help that. It's not happening, and this story won't go away. It just keeps happening. So people are now, they said Evo announcements coming on January 24th. So people are like, we don't need 2 Smashes, we don't need any Smash. And then Smash people are like, dude, Evo's nothing, right? We don't care about Evo. And it's just like, come
Totally
on,
not
dude.
true,
Come
but,
on. Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, come on, guys, we can do this, we can get along. But again, there's no way to close the story because it's still going right
Definitely
now.
still
It's
going.
just it's just a problem.
This month in Genesis, Street Fighter is there for
Yeah,
the first time, and there's a $1,000 pod bonus.
Right.
So it's like it's not going anywhere.
All right, what do you got, Stevie?
I would say the L.I. Joe Evo.
Second.
Okay.
Good one.
Like,
Good one.
I feel like it did so much for.
Oh, gross! He's leaving.
He's bending over the toilet. You guys can't hear or see it, but he's vomiting.
Oh yeah, blah, 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 all over the sink.
Oh, man, you better clean that up.
You're
dude.
gonna have to repave your entire tiles in there.
I'm not
and
going
hold
in there
that
after
in.
this. Anyways,
Pain
yeah,
being a whole-
L.I. Joe.
L.I. Joe, man, like, has nothing to do with the gameplay, but I don't feel like video fighting games have been propelled to a point where it's been a region specific thing. Not yet, especially for something like fighting games. This is like more of a Rocky story. Watching L.I. Joe like climb from a 5,000 man bracket
Right.
up to the top 8 and be the sole American.
Right.
Man, I saw him come out to the ring, and it was just like when Apollo Creed came out and like Rocky won, dude, and he was like super hype, and I was just like, yeah, man, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I didn't know I cared that much until Joe came out. And I
Somebody
was just
mentioned this, by the way. Like, David should have Skyped in.
Yeah, probably.
Should have Skyped in, bro.
yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
But we also wanted to like hang out after.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in a while.
It's all
so.
good.
Alright, we got a little. You cool? We got.
Did you wash your hands?
Yeah, I definitely did.
Okay.
Alright, I
I
hope
didn't,
so.
I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, it's all
Okay.
fine.
But yeah, like just the fact that it was L.I. Joe
Right.
bringing his way all the way back out, being the sole representative of the United States, kind of setting the tone for what could happen if a big tournament was won by an American player, which was
Right.
foreshadowed because Knuckle Doo won Capcom
Right,
Cup.
yeah.
It was just like, that was a story that needed to happen in fighting games because we don't have anything like that, especially coming from a year it was, you know, considered dry when it came to a bunch of the storylines. So, yeah, that's my number 2.
My number 2 is Sonic Fox being ridiculous.
Okay.
I think there was like this weird period of the year where Sonic Fox was like, he was unbeatable for a while, and then he took that break, and then he kind of stopped playing as much, and everybody was kind of like, oh man, like what's this guy on about? We're like worried about like whether he can continue winning. Boom, he wins ESL, he wins EVO, he is just like ridiculously talented. Man, you guys are just... David is gross. He almost died. So yeah, and then just, you know, with Sonic Fox in general, with Injustice 2 on the horizon, it's going to be really interesting to see if that's the game where people will beat him. Yeah, I think to me, just his complete... Yeah, you're right. But complete and utter dominance was really impressive all year.
The only shot that happens, I feel, is if people from other scenes come in, like if Chris G plays Injustice super seriously again, or
Well, he's
like whatever, like
sponsored by
somebody
EG
else.
now.
Yeah, like if some other player decides that okay, I'm really gonna take it serious, then totally could happen.
You
But
should just change his name to E. Chris G.
Yeah.
So-
Ooh.
E. Chris
I get
G.
it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, what's my number 2 here? Let me check the notes. Oh yeah, okay. On an upside sort of branch from Street Fighter V's launch was terrible. It doesn't matter if the game that is the biggest one sucks. The community keeps it going, and so I felt it was like a good lesson that even if a game bombs, in many respects, the community will be fine. Right? So like Street Fighter V's launch could have been gigantic and could have made the FGC much bigger. It didn't like live up to that hype, but it's still, because of the community, has this big presence, and we've still had bigger tournaments than ever before, and there's more money in it than ever before. People are traveling, people are watching more than ever before, and that's I think a really good thing to focus on. It's been great, even though the game was not great.
I mean, even though this is Street Fighter V related, someone tweeted out that Knuckle Doo won more money than Nunes did for beating Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
What is that
Ronda
serious?
Rousey. So Nunes got $200,000.
Is that so?
Knuckle Doo
Yeah.
got 238.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, someone did the
Wow.
math that Knuckle Doo per set at Capcom Cup made $38,000. So per set of Street Fighter V he played, he made $38,000.
That's hella, dude.
That is
That's
hella.
ridiculous. Dude.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of money.
My number 1 storyline, kind of right along there with David, is Street Fighter V's disastrous launch.
Yeah.
Because it could have been just the biggest thing. Like so related to L.I. Joe, both L.I. Joe and I, like before it came out, were like, this could change everything. Like Street Fighter V is gonna be so important. And then it came out, and I was like, what in the where's the arcade mode? Like, why do we have to give thumbs up? Why is the button config erase buttons when we touch this? Things like, I was just like, what is going on? And again, like David said, the gameplay is fine, but you just can't deny that had the game come out, like let's say it came out with the story mode, with an arcade mode, with all these things that was in Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator, right? Now, granted, Revelator is a second version, and it had an arcade release before that, so it had a lot of time to get to that point, but Street Fighter V, it just came out too early or something like that.
Look, it's been out for almost a year now, and few of the problems have been addressed.
Right,
Yeah.
and had that game come out with everything that people would have expected out of the game,
Did you
like
see that, Hanzo?
Yeah.
Hanzo, you're an idiot. God,
Dude,
you're an idiot.
That's my biggest fear. You're gonna get hooked right in the gabber, mate. That shit's coming. Throw your damn hand in a toaster or whatever.
Had the game come out the way that we thought it would have
You
come
what,
out,
mate?
and I still will say this right now. I will say this: if they added an arcade mode, 100% they would sell more copies right now.
Well, of course.
Because everybody that I talked to was like, I don't buy it because there's no arcade mode.
Do you feel like that would make a difference now? Do you feel like
yeah.
now that would make it such a thing?
They'd probably screw it up somehow.
Well,
I don't know what would
okay,
happen. You'd
it's
like
too late
you'd beat
to-
the final boss and it would like brick your PS4 or
Right.
something.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
it's too
Capcom.
late. It's
I don't
too
know.
late for them to get to the point where what could have been.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it's too late to add an arcade.
Oh,
mode,
definitely
right?
not.
So arcade.
They're gonna
mode
add an
should-
arcade mode. I'm giving you guys a lot of credit. They're gonna add an arcade mode. David, don't you do it. That's why you're sick. I believe the Capcom
I see how that
will.
can be misinterpreted.
So
I want that to happen. I feel like that's gonna happen.
I'm just telling you, like that to me is the biggest story because all we're gonna think of 2016 is what could have been, what could it have been, or maybe it would have been better if we had just given Ultra another year.
Oh, but man,
And
don't
then-
say that. That's gross, man.
Right.
Is that worst case scenario
That
for
is worse.
Steve?
That is like the doomsday
not like that
button.
game.
And then
I know,
and
yeah.
you could have said anything else like, look,
yeah,
dude.
and let's not even talk about the rootkit thing that happened.
Yeah, somebody earlier said that it was the best rootkit of 2016.
I mean, it kind of was.
What a bunch of
To be honest,
Yes, yeah.
So, but anyways,
I was out of town when that
They
happened.
rootkitted it. Oh my god. I
number
couldn't
one
believe
story
it.
for you.
Number one story, mine isn't up. I chose to do the opposite of some of my fellow casters here. I wanted to make sure I pointed
Bunch of
out
magicians?
like, the beauty of what happened this year.
Okay.
One of
okay.
those things, and it made me happy, is everything that led up to the release of Marvel vs. Capcom 4 Infinite, and Marvel vs.
Right.
Capcom
Okay,
Infinite.
okay.
Now, the thing
Okay.
is, it would be different if it was only a fighting game for me, personally. But, like, for me, this is like an amalgamation of one of the best things in the world for me. I got comics, I got video games, put them together, fighting games, like, I'm in heaven. But that not only includes just the fighting game part of it, because the fact is like, people were going to play this game regardless. They just wanted it to happen. People didn't know the game was going to happen. They signed what are these things called?
NDAs?
No, not an NDA. The list where you want it to happen and the
Wish list?
Petition?
petition. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
It sounded like a petition just to make sure this game was even possible. So much so people cared that.
The college education for.
I mean, honestly, the
Yeah,
only
let's-
bad thing about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite coming out is that next year, when it comes out, Sajam will have been killed by Tasty Steve
Out of
on
Yeah.
commentary because they'll be sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
as something's gonna happen, and Steve's gonna go, "Oh my God, did you?" And then
He's
in the
gonna rip my
newspaper
head off.
tomorrow, it's just
My
gonna be
neck
like,
will be snapped.
Tasty Steve has killed Sajam
I mean,
from a moment
man.
of hype, you know.
But think about it though. If you take everything, and that doesn't even, like I said, if you remove video games from it, this kind of goes into whole legal, what characters are going to be in there. Then the speculation for the characters start to be in there. Then you're like, well, how do you know what characters are going to be in there? Like, well, Marvel cares about money, so now you got to look at the movies
This year,
to
this
see
year,
what's
yeah.
going to happen in a game that's not even out yet. You know what I mean? And that helps. It kind of all ties in together. So I
Yeah.
feel like as far as a game being all encompassing of something that I actually care about, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is that story. The fact that it was actually announced this year.
Dude, right.
The fact that, like, it's going to be so much. Oh, my God, I've been reading so many comics over the past, like, 2 months. You guys don't even know. I've been eating comics. Like, I couldn't read it fast enough, so I was reading one and eating the
believe
other
it.
one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just so you
But
could digest both
I
of them at the
have
same
to know
time.
what's
Yeah.
happening because
Yeah.
of any of these characters. Dude, wait, sidebar, right? So, like, I made my list, my pretend list of characters that would be in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah.
And they were... I didn't realize. Somebody's like, this is the most hipster Marvel vs. Capcom character list. I was like, no, it's not. Everybody knows who Dazzler is. And some dude was like, what the is a Dazzler? And I'm like, okay, these guys, I guess this is pretty hipsterish. But one of the characters, his name is Sakar, right? Sakar, for you guys who don't know.
This is what it's like to travel with Steve, by the way.
Sakar is the son, one of the sons of the Hulk. And I put him on the list. I'm like, I think he's gonna be in this game. They're like, but nobody even knows who he is, and this, that, and other. And maybe like a week later, some headline was released. They was like, Sakar might be in the new Thor movie, and I'm like, oh, bam, that's sick. The fact that ties directly to the, oh man, that's so sick to me.
You know, just for the safety of everybody else, you might consider like not working out for a while, just so that when you ultimately, you know, I'm not gonna do it, but when you do one of these on somebody else, which you're definitely gonna do, just thinking about it, so you don't kill
I'm not
them.
gonna kill
I
him.
can't wait to do commentary with Steve in this game.
Oh,
Oh man,
man.
it's gonna be wild. I fear for my safety, but I also fear for the safety of the people listening at home.
Man, I'm
It's
just
gonna be
saying.
sick.
Well, like I said,
I mean,
Marvel
people are
vs.
saying
Capcom
it's just
Infinite.
pronounced Scar.
Well, a lot of people don't know who it is if I say Scar because it's just Scar. Nobody, so I say Sakar because it's spelled S-A-K-A-A-R. Yeah. So.
Yeah, my number one story of the year. I don't know myself to follow that up was Knuckle Dude.
Okay.
I think he had like the
Boring.
biggest.
No,
Yeah, it's a,
boring.
it's a super boring pick, but to me is the best story of the year.
Oh yeah.
I think for sure the point at where he started at compared to where he ended the year was just wild. Like it was such a crazy year for that guy. It's like the first time that anybody from America has like won an event like this in modern Street Fighter. Like it's such a crazy victory for him to have. I still can't believe it happened.
Like no American won SBO or Evo
Yeah,
or
anything big like that. So to me, it was such a crazy moment to watch him win Capcom Cup after like the year that guy's had, and not only that, to be an All-American Grand Finals is the wildest thing.
Yeah.
That's true.
These two nerds also didn't believe in America, by the way. I hella believed in America.
Oh, you mean when you
When we
picked
made the
Ricky because
predictions?
you didn't want to make the
same
same
picks
exact
as
list of
everyone
predictions?
else?
That
I
the
hella
other two of us
believed
did?
in America. It
Literally,
was-
that we were all going to have the same three, and then he changed it at the last minute because he didn't want it to be
I
blind.
believed in America the whole time.
You
My
keep
my
repeating
veins
this.
are
I
red,
don't know,
white,
man.
and blue. We reminded people about freedom, all right? That's all
This
I'm saying.
is true.
I had picked Knuckle Dude to win from like the week before.
I don't remember any of that. None of that ever happened. The sickness
But
is
I will
getting to
say
your
this
head.
though. Wait a minute. Whoa. I want to come back.
Show? About
What about him?
Or like
You don't want to talk about
Okay,
this right
okay.
now. We can't talk about that now. But what I will say, in my picks to win certain matches in Capcom Cup, I believe I was the only one, the sole believer that K-Brad would beat Daigo.
I had K-Brad beating Daigo.
No, you did.
I had K-Brad beating
I want to see it. I'm doubling
Watch
back
the
to look at
tapes.
that.
Oh, no,
I'm taking the tapes. I'm taking the
wait,
tapes.
Check the tapes.
No, you're right.
I had Daigo.
Because I said...
Yeah, I definitely
They
did.
thought I was crazy
I said
again.
K-Brad. That was one of the ones that I had trouble picking. I remember, and at the last second, I picked Daigo.
Oh, well, you should
like
have
a
gone
fool.
with your heart, man.
You gotta stick to
I
your
did,
guns.
I did.
totally should
Like
have.
Mr.
I totally
Mr. Clark
should've.
told me back in my youngster days, he said, Steve, you got to stick to your guns and believe. And I believed in K-Brad, and he pulled it up. People was looking at me like I was crazy. I was going, oh,
I
man.
didn't think you were crazy.
I said infiltration would lose to Mongo.
Yeah, I thought that was reasonable. I thought that infiltration losing to Human Bomb was reasonable.
Yep.
Anyway.
What's your number one of the year?
My
Street
number
Fighter 5
one
brand.
Street Fighter 5 branch. It clearly in FGC it's Street Fighter 5 and then everything else, and it doesn't matter what Street Fighter does. It can be a pile of crap, and it's going to be the #1 game, and that's not a good thing. That's
Oh,
not,
it's not.
It's not good. This is not like a yay Street Fighter thing. It's like this is disappointing.
Yeah.
You know that the gameplay's fine, but I like it. But the rest of the game is so bad, and meanwhile you have games that are really like putting their heart into it, and they're not getting anywhere close to where Street Fighter 5 is in terms of entries or viewer numbers or whatever, and that sucks. So that's something that we have to work on as a scene, is being willing to move into other games and try other things out. Maybe you never played, one of the other games before, but there I don't know if there's ever been a time where there are as many good fighting games simultaneously as there are right now. This might be like the best ever. So you should be playing those other games if you have problems with Street Fighter 5, and I know many of us do. So if you're not doing that, that's something that you have to fix.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it in myself too. I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter 5 lately. Like I said, I like the game, but I also have these problems with it. And I was thinking to myself, why am I not putting as much time into MK as I used to, or into KI like I did when it was first launched earlier this year or last year? Why am I spending so much time on this game? And it's just because I feel like it's like momentum, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like my just inertia of a fighting game career of playing Street Fighter, so I'm still doing it. And I don't want to give it up, but it shouldn't be the case that it's getting 5K entries at EVO when the release was as bad as it was, and other games are not getting anything like that.
Well, remember,
Like,
a
that
lot
disparity
of
shouldn't be
Street
like
Fighter
that.
5's entries came before the game was
Well,
came
okay,
out.
that's true.
Don't forget. So
Yeah, I don't even think it's the case of it having the money. I don't think that's why.
As a product, Street Fighter 5 is definitely lacking. No
I
matter
really
how
think
you
it's
look at it.
inertia. I really think it's just people are well, I've played Street Fighter. That's the game that
So
I've
it's
been
more
playing.
like legacy.
all right,
It's
good.
more
Keep
legacy
it up.
than the
Yeah.
actual product.
I really think that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, the gameplay is not the problem, but there are so many other issues with it that if you have an issue with it and you're still playing it, I feel like that's just because of inertia. That's basically what I mean.
Wow.
Okay.
Next category.
Next category is FGC Member of the Year. So this is not necessarily... So we had Player of the Year, but there are a lot of people in the FGC who are not players, or they do play, but they also do other stuff.
Yeah.
So this is an award for those. For number 3, I have, and I'm not doing this just because they're here, but my number 3 is Tasty Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's
snap.
the Tasty Jam duo because
I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that. I didn't know that was a duel. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Because these guys obviously have been I think you guys have commentated more fighting games than anybody else all year long.
That's
Across
definitely true.
across like 4 or 5 different games.
Yeah.
So you guys have been like doing ridiculous amounts of commentary this past year, and there's a reason why you guys have really propelled yourself up into a different echelon, into a higher echelon.
Nice work.
So my number 3 pick is to these two guys.
Oh, snaps. Thank you, sir.
So can we kiss
okay.
now? Can we kiss?
Maybe later. Maybe later. I don't want to send the wrong message. I got some special people watching.
Okay.
The prize is a nice firm handshake by me
I know.
to be delivered tonight.
No, I don't like the sound of that.
I would say top 3, number 3, because I had them in a spot. But first off, I'm going to say the Tenno crew.
Okay.
Oh.
Tenno crew has done some amazing things when it comes to the FGC. And each time, like, separation-wise, when it comes to the bar of production, I think you can't even say anybody else's name when it comes to production and a lot of the light. And that's not just on fighting game. I've worked with these guys doing other stuff too, which is one of those things you spoke on.
So some people are asking, hey, who's Tenno Productions? So
Yeah.
Tenno Productions is literally like Chris Seglia, Hanzo Gonzo, and Spencer, a whole bunch of the other guys there, and they pretty much ran Evo, they ran Capcom Cup,
In terms of the stream.
Production.
yeah,
the
stream
stream.
production. They basically run every important like fighting game event that exists right now.
Yeah.
So they are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. But no, those are the guys that we work with the most.
Yeah.
And with that being said, like James
I think
said,
we worked with them at least 20 to 25
Yeah.
weekends. this
That's
year.
because you also did all the
Wizard Worlds. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So I've seen them pretty much every weekend all year is
Yeah.
basically how often I see those guys. And they're super hardworking.
What do you got?
I have the same one, Tenno crew. So Chris Seglia, Hanzo,
Okay.
Spencer, those dudes all over there working super hard, and the various people who interchange and help them out.
Yep.
That's the crew that's working super hard to make all these events super awesome. You saw like the Evo production, the ESPN Evo production was done by them. Like they're the guys doing this stuff. It's
exactly.
not like it was like a TV crew. Like that's what Seglia's old day job was doing like TV. Like he did Pac-10 and
Pac-12.
Pac-12. Sorry. I think I was thinking of Tenno in my head, but
Yeah,
he did
Pac-10 at
Pac-12.
the start, but yeah.
Yeah, he does that, and he works on like other sports stuff up in NorCal. Like, yeah, those guys are super talented at what they do. They do a super awesome job, and yeah, I think that they do. Like, it's one of those things where it really sucks that we say Tenno and people are like, who?
Yeah.
Right.
They get none of the credit
yeah.
for doing such like fantastic
But
work.
dude, I mean,
But
And they did all the Tekken events, and they did like the
Seglia
Tekken
kind of
game.
is that way on
As I say,
purpose,
like that's
right?
what
Yeah.
Seg prefers.
Yeah, he
he's-
doesn't ever want people to know. But don't worry,
Well, hold
on January 24th, when they announce the Evo stuff, we'll all give out Seglia's email address, and
Yeah.
then everyone can email him and tell him how much they love him.
Didn't we do that?
That happened.
That happened.
We'll do it
last
again.
year.
They need to
Yeah.
refresh
Somebody
it.
did it? Yeah.
Mr. Wizard did
Wizard
that.
did
Wizard did it, yeah.
This year, he was like, I'm going to give out your address instead.
That's right. My number 3 was actually specifically Hanzo Gonzo.
Good choice.
What?
It wasn't...
No, that's the
Because
terrible
I've
choice.
given it to Seglia in the past. I
Yeah.
didn't want to do that again.
Uh-huh.
And I thought like it would be funny because Hanzo Gonzo has a rep for being totally useless.
Yeah.
That used to be the case. But over the last couple years, he's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Stop
There's
it.
a lot of
Stop
events-
it. Stop making him feel like a
Like
normal-sized human.
He ran like
Hey.
a production of a bunch of events that
He
Seg
sure
couldn't
did.
make it to.
Yeah, he was the director
Yeah.
or producer or whatever like the lead role is.
Yeah, he was
So that was it. But it's not just Hanzo, of course, or Spencer. There's Josh, and there's they have a sort of roving in and out crew. I think they are awesome. But
Okay.
Shout outs to somebody who everybody thinks is useless. But actually, he's pretty important to the FGC.
Oh, he's definitely pretty important to the FGC. A little troll. Using the internet as a bridge always. Sleeping under it. Waiting. Anyways, go ahead.
Are you done?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay.
Number 2.
I'm done.
Number 2. My number 2 is Tempest Rob.
Oh, very
because,
cool.
Look, every year I always give it a chance to like shout outs to people that I just think do fantastic work and that I'm just personally big fans of, right? So I really had to put Tempest Rob on this list because he won like an award, just like an esports award.
Esports Photographer of the Year.
He does the most amazing photography work at fighting game events. In fact, like the most famous picture from Evo with the truss at the top and everything, and the Evo logo and everything like that was all from him. He does fantastic work. I know he also personally was in one of those positions where he really had to make one of those decisions, like, do I just go for this? And he's made it work, and now he's at like, wasn't he at like Madison Square Garden, like shooting like League of Legends or something like? It was like some crazy events.
He was at the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
It sure was.
Yeah. So shout outs to Tempest Rob, aka Robert Paul. So.
Okay.
Number 2.
My number 2. Markman. Now, this is like outside of Markman being like my brother in arms, man. I love that dude. Everybody knows I run with Mr. Markman. The thing is about it is like he's one of the people that have made these crazy transitions in the FGC, and it's not even about keeping afloat. He's being helpful to the FGC no matter what he does. Like he's like, hey guys, I'm now gonna be consultants for multiple companies. But you have to remember, him being a consultant for multiple companies just means that you're gonna get the same kind of quality from multiple that you did from the one that he started or from the ground up. I mean, look at Mad Catz. The only reason the Mad Catz controller is in my house again because we had some crazy debacles. I won't mention which one, but the only reason there's a Mad Catz stick in my house right now is because of what Markman has done. That is not
that company was garbage.
Like even their logo was shitty. Jesus, that logo was trash.
The only time you ever talked about that company was
how shitty their controllers
I had this terrible Mad Catz pad. It died in a day. It was made out of plastic that just fell apart in my hands. Like and then all of a sudden we were buying Mad Catz stuff because of
$150, $200 joysticks from me.
Yeah, it was like such a fast turnaround.
So I mean, I'm glad you mentioned him because I have him actually. I didn't pull a tie. But he was an honorable mention for me.
I have 2.
I really wanted to bring up Markman, but the thing about it is, I have a weird suspicion that I will have to be giving him this award next year because he is pulling some Illuminati shit right now. He just became Justin's manager. But to be honest, like he's the only reason why Tekken was even as big as it was.
That was the next thing I was about to say. He's the community manager for Tekken 7, and part of the reason like I'm super involved with it and the fact that they went up so well.
But like I said, I have a funny feeling he'll be on my list next year if things keep, because I mean it's turning out that he's running everything.
He can repeat.
So.
Yeah.
He can repeat.
He can repeat.
Fair enough.
My number 2 on my list is also Markman. I think pretty easy choice. This guy has his hands in everything fighting games. It's really hard to find something he's not in. He has made sticks for Mad Catz, Razer, and Hori at this point.
Right.
Like the 3 main stick companies that people want to get sticks from are all from consulting from Markman. He works on Evo. He is part of the Evo team that makes that happen.
The Evo Japan. He's part of the
Evo
main reason
right?
that's happening.
That hasn't even happened yet, but you know, it's like that's on there. He made the whole Tekken Tour thing happen. He works with Bandai Namco. Like he is with so many different companies, making so many different things happen.
And he's a single father.
And he's a
single, not stay at home, but a single dad.
And he does commentary. And he does all this
commentary.
Stuff.
Come on, dog.
It's really, and like people give him like shit all the time for whatever, but like I can't think of anybody who works that damn hard. It's super impressive. And it's one of the only reasons that I found so much work this year. Like I have to give the guy credit for that. Like it's crazy.
Did you guys actually read the FGCNN article?
I did not see it.
Oh my god!
I saw there
they
was
just
one.
came out a new one, and it's all about Markman because he became Justin's manager. So he's starting a new group called Empire Marcadia.
There's no way that's what that's called.
He's opening a gaming house called The Mark, and he's from now on going to be known as Biforce. Dude, it was the most genius. Super funny article. It was the most genius article, dude. That was amazing.
That's great. I'm glad that site's back.
Yeah, I know it came
Number
from nowhere,
2.
but yeah.
what's my number 2? Katana Prime.
Oh, sick choice.
Well, I've been seeing that guy a lot of places.
Yeah,
this
good
year.
choice.
Katana Prime. He's been a good player for a long time, but that's not really why he's on my list. It's just because he's been running events at a lot of majors. He gets tasked with actually running it. He has commentated great for it, and I think at this point he's probably the best NA MK commentator, which is great. I really like his love for that game, for NRS games in general, is like unusually strong. I feel like it's certainly more than I care personally about like any individual game.
Yeah.
And I really respect that. Yeah, shout outs to him. I'm really impressed with all the stuff that he's been doing over the last year, a little bit longer than that. I'm sure he'll have a good 2017.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 1.
Well, my number 1, look, we talked about repeats. I didn't want to put a repeat. We've had Chris Seglia there before, and he's the guy who runs 10-0 Productions, so I cheated and I put 10-0 Productions as my number 1. Because basically, if it wasn't for them, the FGC would just basically be nothing right now. Like you said, he did all the Evo ESPN productions. He's been behind all of the biggest events, and so I just feel like without that 10-0 Productions, and it wasn't fair to give it to only Seglia because so many of the other guys are doing work for that team as well, and he's always contracting people out. I saw some people mention, like, oh, Spooky and stuff like that. Dude, he also gets Spooky to help him.
Yeah.
It's just that
he's been a part of the 10-0 stable.
XSplit keeps stealing all of their
That's right,
streamers.
Mondo
and Spooky.
Yeah, so. But 10-0 Productions, I just feel like right now there is no FGC without the 10-0 Productions.
Yeah, I do awesome work.
To me, they are the most important player group in the FGC right now.
Okay.
And again, of course,
I thought he wasn't done.
Chris doesn't want the limelight, but he deserves all the limelight.
Ha!
So my number one is actually a group of people. And it's this group of fine gentlemen right here. You guys are my most important. No, I'm serious. So it's like, you have to remember, I introduced these two to my auntie when we were in Atlanta. And I was like, the only reason that I can confidently speak on any commentary mic, whether it be on the stage or on a desk, is because of these two.
Thanks,
you just did that. You changed your order because
I
put
didn't.
you at number 3.
It was always.
You're just trying to make me
look.
Dude, when it came to be his turn, he was like, "Okay, I gotta reorder it in my mind real fast."
That totally happened.
That did not happen. I swear to God. Look,
Sounds like me at Capcom Cup prediction.
I would not put anybody above. I wouldn't change that order. So it's definitely you two, especially my boy Say Jam here, because he definitely toughed out this road of being paid only to commentate, which is our job right now.
I don't know how we did it.
That's what we do, and I had to have a running mate, and I'm glad it was this guy right here, because this dude has been with me all year, along with Rip, not to be forgotten. But this dude has been there. We've done this together, and I'm really happy that he's one of my co-commentators, especially with the rest of the Ultra Chin team. So it definitely makes me happy.
I'm just
Go shake. But yeah, seriously, thank you guys. I'm so serious. Thank you so much. Y'all know that I would not be here if it was not for you three. It would not happen. So thank you guys so much. You guys are my number ones.
Man, I thought we were all excluded from the list. I didn't put anybody.
I would have put myself as number
That's
one.
why once they said us, I was like, oh, now I can make sure the Say Jam is super included in this.
Okay.
You guys are too kind. My number 1 is none of you nerds.
Me too.
It's Rick. My number 1 is Rick.
I think that was my number 1 last year.
He was my number 1 last year, yeah.
I didn't want to do
Actually, I think he was my number 2 last year.
Okay, well, he was definitely on both of our lists.
Yeah, the thing about Rick, similar to Markman, hands in everything FGC. This guy does graphics work, so he does a lot of the apparel that you guys like, stuff like Crying Heihachi hat for Tekken, just things like that. Anything time you see FGC apparel and you're like, this is super sick, it's Rick's hands in it. He worked on Evo merch this year, all the Combo Breaker stuff, all the KI Cup stuff, all the Tekken stuff,
CEO, he does
CEO stuff, all this stuff like that. He does super awesome, all that kind of stuff. He was in charge of running, he does, tournament consulting for Red Bull stuff, Wizard World stuff, for CEO, Combo Breaker, which was the event of the year for all 3 of us. It's hard to think of somebody more involved with so many things. So that's why him and Markman, I was really hard to pick who was number 1. But yeah, those two and Seglia, all 3 of the people on my list are 3 people who are almost so like one of the huge reasons that we could do what we did this year. Without those three, it would have been super hard to do. So yeah.
Wait. Side note before you finish, right? So this is not me changing the order, but my MVP, even though we didn't have an MVP, was the Hado. That's who it was. I was gonna wait till the end to say it, but he already added it in.
Well,
MVP
since you're
goes
cutting
to
him off, I'm adding this. I really did want to put.
No, you didn't.
I really wanted to put Esteban on the list.
Oh, yeah,
Now
that's
he's
true.
in the chat. I'm not saying it just because he's there. I actually am because I saw him and I was like, you know what? I really want to give him a shout out. But he did awesome stuff for a lot of the video work for the Tekken series. So I just wanted to give him. I just wanted to give him a shout out. I just wanted to give him.
Yeah, he's in the chat. His name is the Hado, by the way, Rick.
Right.
Not
Rick is the
Esteban. Yeah, Esteban's best.
Esteban is the best Esteban.
Yeah, he does fantastic work.
Yeah.
Hey man, I hope you enjoyed Korea. He was in Japan when we were in Japan in the
Right,
finals.
yeah,
But yeah, he went to Korea after and then back to Japan. So I hope you're home and safe.
Okay.
Number one.
My number one was Markman for all the reasons.
Okay. Cool.
Shout outs.
Markman.
Yeah, it was
Honestly,
last year I said Rick and I said Seg, and I like it really could be both of those two every year, and so I didn't want to do that. But
Yeah.
I mean,
really could be both of them.
That's
like,
kind
every
of
year.
that. Like I said, it's the only reason why Mark's not on my list because I just have the feeling he's gonna
Like
be
there's
there
like
next
5
year.
people who I just feel like could be on the list every single time.
We're gonna have to do that exclusion thing like we do for
no
the
Seg
event.
or Rick or Markman or maybe like the Cannons or like whatever. Like there's like a
Yeah.
couple other people who's like they could be there every year. Keats, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now we're on to Newcomer of the Year.
Yes, Newcomer of the Year. Now this
Curly
could be,
W.
This could be anybody.
Also a good choice.
Could be anybody.
I only have one person on my list.
Actually, same here.
Yeah, I only have one human on my list.
And my number 3 human. So my human is on number 3.
Yeah.
And my number 3 newcomer of the year is Lupe Fiasco.
Oh. That's a good one.
Because look, he
funny.
showed up with the Daigo thing and it was like a stunt or whatever, but look, he really loves the fighting game community. His heart is actually in it. And it's not just like one of those, like, he's even said, like, look, when I'm at a fighting game event, please let me watch the event, because I am Lupe, the fighting game fan.
Yeah.
And the fact that he shouted you out at a concert.
Yeah, he brought like...
And he bought like the
Tupperware.
Hador and Tupperware.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody knows who Tupperware is.
Right. And he
Gonna take up 80% of Lupe Fiasco's concert like that?
Yeah,
Jesus.
I know. And like...
That was great.
Dude, he's like your life... Like,
Yeah.
he was one of you, like, the people that you wanted to meet.
That's like,
and, like
bucket list meeting a person, and that
there's
happened
a
only.
picture of Lupe, like, draped on Steve.
Yeah, like one of his grandma cardigans. He's like wearing
Yeah.
Lupe.
So honestly, shout outs to him. And look, I know I met him, but I didn't want to I don't know his music, right?
Oh.
Like I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
But like I didn't want to be that
knew
guy
who you
going
were before you knew who he was.
I didn't want to go up to him and be like, "Yo, Lupe, I'm your you know, I was just like,
Yeah.
"No, that's disingenuous." So but no,
Yeah, I
shout out
was
to
just
him.
like, hey, how's it
and
going?
you know,
He was
obviously,
like, hey.
to pull a Tasty Steve tie thing, you know, also shout outs to Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods as well. So
So I have actually 3 people. Do we have the? You want me to? I can name my 3 right now.
I mean, is it...
Because I felt like everybody else only had one person, but I can just start my 3. All right, never
Whoever
mind.
you want to order,
All right,
man.
Yeah,
However
so-
you wanna do it.
So my
It's top any number. Go for
Right,
it. There's no
my
rules.
number 3 is Kenny Omega.
okay.
Because like I did not like I follow wrestling very loosely. I've only just recently gotten to like the New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff, and the fact that I saw him at CEO and he came up to me, he was like, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of yours," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah. He
Like,
did the same
I
thing
was
to
like,
me.
me? And he was just like, "Yeah, man. Like I watch you guys every Wednesday." I was like, "Every Wednesday?"
Yeah. Dude.
This is so cool. You know,
He is so
like
cool.
and then like so it would be different if he was just like, "Yeah, man, I'm a big fan of yours." Not really, but we went out to eat with him later.
That's right, yeah.
And the entire time he was like, "Look, man, I'm trying to get good at Street Fighter." Like so, and he didn't say anything other than, "What am I doing wrong, Justin? What do you think I'm doing wrong?" I'm like, "Will this guy stop being a fanboy?" Oh my God, that's Kenny Omega. Oh
Dude.
man, this is pretty
Dude,
cool.
when he played against Xavier Woods,
That was so good.
It was, and he's definitely way better.
Oh,
than
yeah,
Xavier
yeah, yeah.
was. But he did a superb job at not making that super obvious.
It's almost like
It's
almost like
he did it so well.
But
Right,
look, wait. It's almost like his job is to make fights look
No,
close.
I mean, I
for,
know.
like to sell fights for a living.
But it's not. But it's not easy
You're
to
such
like
a
do
hater.
that
Are you
in
saying
the game.
wrestling isn't real? I will jab you in the throat.
I can't
Bro,
believe.
you-
I can't believe how good of a job he did at selling. Yeah.
I mean, like outside of the game, I get it, but like in a game, it's not easy.
Oh, it's definitely
It's
not.
not.
easy.
Yeah.
He did a great
And
job.
like the first thing he said to me afterward was like, he was like, "That wasn't that obvious, was it?" And I was like, "That was
yeah. No, Kenny is legit good. Yeah.
No, he's actually good.
Yeah.
And he trained with LPN and everything.
Yeah.
That's not even fair,
Kenny
dude.
is super good. Yeah, my number 3 is the only person on my list, which is John Takeuchi.
Mhm.
I don't know that
Okay.
kid. First of all, he is super talented Rashid player. He's really fun to watch. He's adorable, dude. He's an adorable little kid. If Red Bull Japan
He's
is
so
not
cute, dude. Yeah.
signing that kid and slapping logos all over his entire body, they are morons. Because he
Entire
looks like
body.
he looks like a Japanese like J-pop star or something.
No,
little
they
kid.
said he's like a Japanese Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah,
right?
he's,
I see
dude.
that.
He's just put a bunch of logos and hoodies and jackets and whatever on that
It's
kid.
very sellable.
And put him in front of stuff and have him do the little thing that he does,
Yeah.
you know, and like boom, he'll make
The
you a
crank up is so
he'll
good.
Yeah,
make you
yeah,
$1 billion.
yeah.
The US FGC loves this kid. He's super fun to watch.
Sell him in Japan, dude. He's like such a good
That's a
sellable
J-pop
person.
star. He's a little,
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
put him in front of like 1,000 little girls,
I'm totally
and
with
they,
you.
yeah, they're just gonna be like, oh my god, this kid is adorable. I like Street Fighter now. It's like the easiest
Right.
thing to do.
I
like,
definitely agree.
They should be he should look like a NASCAR driver, like head to toe in Red Bull Japan merchandise. That kid is worth his weight, like 5 times his weight in gold. Like just put a bunch of merchandise.
Really
He's
gold?
like this tall. He's just a little fella. Just put a bunch of stuff on him.
You know, 5 times his weight in gold isn't as much.
$20 of gold.
Yeah. Newcomer of the year, John Takeuchi.
My newcomer of the year's number 3 is also my only human, and it's actually Punk.
Oh yeah, good choice.
Okay, yeah.
So he was he played in Street Fighter 4, although Takeuchi did as well.
Yeah, he did.
But like I remember the first time I saw him in SF5, and he like was doing all right. It was like on a stream, or maybe he was like playing online or something. And I played him online just randomly, like ranked a couple times. And I thought like he seems like all right, like he's okay.
Yeah.
And then the next time I saw him, it was at Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
And he was like this ridiculous play. In like 6 months, he was like, yeah, to like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
you are, all of a sudden, you are like one of the best players in the world.
Right.
And then the next major he went to, was it NEC that just happened?
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah.
Like the progression from like, okay, kind of gimmicky, but all right, to like, wow, you are one of the best players in the country. All
Yep.
of a sudden. That was like 8 or 9 months. That's so impressive.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He's like 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Good choice.
my number 2 is, as I said, I'm out of humans now.
Yeah, me too.
My number 2, although, you know, we've often talked about external validation and we don't need it or whatever like that, but my number 2 is ESPN. Welcome to the fighting game community. Hope you enjoy your stay and hope you continue to get people to go, what is this game garbage on my TV? And then like 5 minutes later tweet like, oh my god, this is so captivating, I can't stop watching it. So let's hope we have some long futures with ESPN, because you know what, regardless of whether or not we need sports validation, which I don't think we do, they're a very powerhouse in the entertainment industry, and that being good with them is just not a problem. So,
Yeah, more eyes on Street Fighter or any fighting game,
Yeah.
which is the hope for next year,
For sure.
is always good.
Yeah.
I will say my number 2. Well, it already was. It was Ambo Punk. Watching,
Be right back.
Jesus, watching him like climb, especially. Apparently, he was around for Street Fighter 4, just didn't do as well. Jesus.
People 100% heard of that.
Gross.
Yeah, he is like fighting with the toilet in there. Anyways, yeah, like same thing David said, man. Watching him come up, and just do so well, and then like right after maintain that by winning tournaments after it. Like hearing people talk about him in passing, about how he plays and the things that he does, like it's crazy for me to see that this kid has come so far in such a short amount of time. Give him a lot of props for just being able to stay relevant, especially in a game like Street Fighter V, where everybody's looking at these kind of, you know, these veteran players like Justin and Eduardo and, you know, Champ and all these other players to be that much better, and for him to come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat Justin Wong, basically
In the Karen Mirror?
yeah, in the Karen Mirror, and like that's crazy. You know what I mean? Either way, he is my number 2. Yes.
My number 2, also not a human being. I know that, what is this clip?
Oh, that's David coughing and hacking. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Can you actually hear it?
I could probably.
Jesus.
All right, you gotta hear it
Watching
again.
him,
It's pretty gross.
Like climb, especially. Apparently, he was around for Street Fighter 4. Just didn't. Do
Oh yeah,
as
you
well.
can hear that for sure.
Ugh.
On my face.
Okay, you can hear that. For sure.
How's it going, everybody?
Good. All right.
All right, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, my number
Everything's
2
fine.
on my list, also not a human being, is Daigo and Momochi's stream.
Ah, yes.
So Momochi
yes.
has started
Okay.
streaming a ton.
Okay.
Him and Choco, and they've streamed a
Yeah.
ton of different things. It's been super awesome. They did Resident Evil VR. They have a super entertaining stream, and I wanted to put them on there just because I think that it's really awesome that more foreign players are streaming and more interactive with their stream. But the real winner here is Daigo's stream. Super entertaining stream. Big props to Giuna for doing such an awesome job translating and making that happen. Everybody who helped make Daigo's stream happen, they are the best. Like, that is such an entertaining stream. The drunk stream that they just did was so good. Daigo was out there. He was super hammered watching these sets. It was really entertaining. Yeah, I always watch Beast TV. I think it's a super awesome stream every time I check it out. And everybody involved with putting that thing together, big thanks to them again. And it's awesome.
That means Sejan did thank me, because I did help a little.
Well, there you go.
Illuminati status. Okay.
There you go.
No,
All
I
right.
did nothing.
I might be too sick to get that joke. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, nobody knows. So.
Newcomer of the year for David, number 2.
I remember I drank with Daigo one time. This is like SCR, probably 2011 or something like that. And we were at a KBBQ place afterward. And, you know, we were getting like beers, and I got like a beer, and other people got like a beer. And he got like one of those big beers that you can drink.
Yeah.
You know, like the big ones.
Schooner?
Like the 750 ml?
Yeah.
Like the big one,
Schooner,
right?
Yeah.
And I think he had like 5 or 6 of those bottles.
Jesus.
Like just piled up in front of him.
Was this at the KBBQ that we
Yeah,
went to that
afterward.
one time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just really impressed, you know? That's not easy to do.
Yeah, he is a beast.
He can really put him back.
Yeah, he is.
That's
He's
what
a
I
pro.
heard.
Well,
They
don't
can really do
don't
that.
forget there was the post Evo where this was a long time ago where him and Combo Fiend after Evo had to be wheeled back to their rooms in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Good old days.
That's right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
My second place newcomer of the year is Killer Instinct.
Oh.
Good choice.
Since
Yeah.
Killer Instinct's initial launch in March, I've been really impressed with it. You know, it's a really good game. Like I said, I almost had it in my top 3. I probably should have had it at 3rd place rather than making a joke at Street Fighter V's expense. But in any case, yeah, I really like it. I know that they put a lot of time into it. There's obviously a lot of care that goes into it. So yeah, I look for good things from it for its 2nd year of release.
Okay.
That's good.
Well, I mean, look, obviously there's that whole newcomer joke, right? That everyone's like, oh, they're not really newcomers.
Yeah.
So my number 1 kind of falls in that vein. Look, she's been around in the scene before a long time ago, right? And just she never really made much of an impact. People really didn't notice her that much, but just this past year, I feel like she's really come into her own. Now everybody knows about her. And strangely enough, nobody likes her now, and that is Rainbow Mika. So our Mika is my newcomer of the year because everybody was like, oh, Rainbow Mika, I can't wait to play her because she's my favorite character. You never played Rainbow Mika. You did not. Nobody knew anything about
in North America who played
I was
that
one of those
character.
Yeah, it was like you,
That's me.
me, and Crack Prawn. That was like it, right?
And Olaf. Those
Yeah,
are like the only people
like
I
really
ever met.
only Mika people. So everybody who's like, "Oh man, I'm so happy Mika's back," I'm like, "Shut up, dude!
Yeah,
you
come
have
on.
never touched
Come on.
our Mika in your life."
Don't even
But,
know
come
who
on.
she is.
Yeah, everybody hates her now though. So
All right.
that is my
Stevie boy.
newcomer of the year.
So, my number 1 newcomer is Lupe Fiasco.
Ah,
Obviously, because like that like completed the circle for me because I was like a huge fan of his music. He's also from the Midwest, and now he already played video games, and I was a big fan anyway. He likes Metal Gear. He likes Zone Enders. We talk about anime and stuff like that, and then now he's playing Street Fighter and he's part of the fighting game community, and that officially makes him like the homie, because like I could just be like, yo, what's up? We have a multitude of things to talk about. On top of that, he still plays games and he interacts with a lot of the players in the community regardless, you know?
You have his personal phone number, Mr.
I'm not going to reveal that. Man, you can't.
Everybody
That's
knows
what
the
it
answer.
was.
Everybody knows the answer is yes.
Yeah. Continue for
I've been driving and I'm like talking to Steve and I ask him a question and then I'm like, He doesn't answer. I look over and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I was texting Lupe." What? I'm like,
You gotta spend all your concentration on that.
Yeah,
You don't want to send a dumb tweet. A dumb like message.
That's like writing an email to your professor, right? Like
Yeah, I
you
know.
spend like half an hour on it. Okay, maybe I should put the comma here or the comma there. I don't know where to put the comma.
Especially if it's an English professor.
Oh my god! But yeah.
One time he came out to because every time I pick Steve up, I give him a 30-minute heads up,
Oh,
and
here
he's
we
always
go.
10 minutes late to come out. It's crazy. It's almost like I'm driving 30 minutes out of my way to pick him up, and he's still not there on time. Anyway, one time he came out like 5 minutes late, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I was playing Lupe online, so like we were just playing some games, and so yeah, whatever. I was finishing up our set," and I was like, "You play Lupe online and Street Fighter all the time?" He's like, "Yeah, just whatever, once or 2 weeks." I was like, "What?"
I just have to add that I just think it's the coolest thing for you. Like seriously, like I picture like certain artists that like if I ever became friends with or like famous people, I would just be like, this is the sickest thing. And like to have that actually happen, I think is like
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the
cool,
sickest things in the world for me. So
Happy for you too.
My number one newcomer to the FGC is the Tekken Tour.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I think that was such a cool idea to have it even before the game ever released. To have everybody able to play the game that early and be at so many events and everything like that, and then have such a sick finals.
Yeah.
Like everybody watched King of the Iron Fist finals, and they're like, that was crazy.
even Evo was sick. We still had
Evo
we
was
had
super
two
sick. North American
North American players in at Evo. That's
Top
on
eight.
top of it. Changed like the outcome of everything.
America placed higher at Evo in Tekken than Japan did. There was the highest placing American
crazy.
was up there. Yeah, he was up there over a Japanese player.
I love the rule that you can relinquish. That is so smart.
Although that made the last chance qualifiers last
They were
17
wild.
hours.
Yeah, I get it, but,
but still, that was
But
amazing.
still, it's
though.
just like such a hype idea.
Yeah.
Right.
To me, the Tekken Tour was super awesome. It was not a project that I personally was working on, but I was working alongside it like the whole year. And that was one of the big reasons that I wanted to go to Japan, actually, was because the Tekken finals were happening. And I felt pretty attached to it, and I was like, I want to see the finals of this. Like, I've seen it all year, and to me, it was such a cool event that I had to check it out. So, yeah, I'm
that's
really
a
happy
really good
about
pick.
it. So, Tekken Tour is my number one newcomer.
Okay, my number one newcomer of the year is American Street Fighter.
That's a good choice.
It's nice having Americans play Street Fighter.
Mhm.
It hasn't happened before, but it's really nice now that there are tournaments that are held for Street Fighter in America, and that are entered into by American players.
Yeah.
They
That's
can be
great.
very possibly won
great.
by American players.
Yeah, that's great.
That was the big thing when I went to Japan. I couldn't believe how bad all the Street Fighter players were. I was like, man,
You know
these
what?
guys all suck at Street Fighter. I came home to where people are good at Street
You know
Fighter,
what?
and I was like, this is weird.
Justin's actually told me that.
Yeah.
He was like, well, they went to tournaments, and he was like, we only think they're super good because they only send their best players out all
of
the time.
course.
But they're like,
I was making mostly a joke about America winning Capcom Cup,
Oh,
but
yeah, okay.
yeah. All right, James.
But still, from what I've heard, it's not like how it used to be, which is that like Japanese arcades would just have like random schmo who comes in from his day job and he's like this ridiculous player who you've never heard of.
It's certainly like that for Tekken. I can tell you that.
But in Street Fighter 5, I don't think it's, from what I've heard, it's not as much like that as it has been in the past.
Okay. So,
Yep. All right.
Just ruined your joke. I apologize.
That's all right.
It's alright.
David. Oh, you
That
we
was
just
me.
finished that. Yes. Okay.
He's all flustered. We've officially pretty much passed all the main awards.
Right.
These
so
are
we're
like
at the random
There's only a
select
couple more.
awards.
Yeah, random select, and then after that, personal FGC resolutions for 2017.
Do you want to take a break before we do that, or do you want to just do it?
Let's just barrel
Let's just
through
do it
this.
because
handle
you're
it.
about to die anyway.
And I'm
so
hungry.
fine.
My
Hungry
number,
and
so
tired.
random select award is anything we just wanted to talk about that we didn't squeeze into the other
Correct.
ones, right?
Yeah.
So number 3, you brought it up already. There's no way that I would have believed that Marvel was going to be announced at Capcom Cup. No way,
Yeah.
just no way. But the fact that it actually existed, because like everything in my mind is like, there's no way, and 2, there's no way they could show footage because even if it was an existing thing. Marvel, Disney only changed their plans just this past year, and I was like, so the game must be like barely code. Like right now, Captain America probably walks around like this, and so the fact that they even had anything to show blew my mind. The fact that the game existed blew my mind. Like there was just nothing that I believed that would have ever happened, and so I just thought that was a cool thing.
As soon as I saw Disney like kill that little game they had with the toys, Disney
yeah,
Infinite.
yeah.
Once I saw
Disney
that, and they're like,
Infinite,
yeah, they're disbanding it. I was like, we're getting Marvel 4.
Oh, yeah?
No, when I saw it, because they'll put it like this: either they're making a shit ton of money off of that, or they're gonna actually push something where they can already. I mean,
Make
put like
more
this.
money.
Exactly. I mean, if Marvel 3 had those characters in it and it was all slated just to mix in with their Marvel movie release, that's genius. One, because that's the
Right.
kind of cross promotion.
Like, I didn't know who Rocket Raccoon was before Marvel 3, to be honest. I've
See,
never heard
nobody
of
did. Nobody. I mean,
Not
I knew
Rocket
who he
Raccoon.
him. I
was.
put him on my radar.
Dude,
Yeah.
what's funny is that I made the joke just recently that, you know, maybe the log trap is Groot, right?
Oh God, that's
And, like,
sick.
I made that joke, but like I couldn't have made that joke for like the first half of the first
Unless you
3
knew, yeah,
years
that's
of Marvel's
true, yeah.
existence until Guardians of the Galaxy
Yep.
came out, right? So yeah.
No, that's 100% true.
Okay. But that's my number 3.
All right, what do you got?
I would say just the whole how far we've come from FGC to esports. I guess that transition coming in is a couple of things. Yeah,
A little too close.
Getting closer and closer, breathing this
I'm trying
stinky
to stay away.
germs.
I'm
Anyways,
not breathing
Toxic
stink.
fumes.
Might be
Um,
toxic.
Goddamn apple cores finally got
that's
to
what
this
happens, man.
That's what
You're
someone
not
else
supposed to
joked
eat that
in
part of the apple,
Someone
dude.
joked in there that David ate too many apple cores.
God
Well,
damn.
maybe
Yeah.
I haven't had one recently. Maybe not enough.
Ooh.
Keep that kind of talk out of your mouth like them apple cores, you weirdo.
Last time I had an apple, you know what? I didn't eat the core. I threw it away. I was too full.
Now your body
Your
now
body
has
is getting used to it. That's
Well,
why
yeah,
you're
it
sick,
needs
dude.
the
Should have kept
poison.
it up.
It
I
needs
should
the
get that
poison.
point right.
Yeah.
It's like eating the innards, man. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
How
what
far
like.
we've gotten.
how far we have come from just being FGC to FGC X esports global and corporate conglomerate. You know, that whole shebang that's coming with it. Not particularly a hot point for a lot of people, but I feel like it's only right to put that up there on one of the talking points because a lot of the stuff that's happening in fighting games right now, whether it comes to the sponsorships, Rick Fox and all these other big important names and companies, Red Bull being incorporated into the FGC stable, like you said, as part of one of the, like ESPN, all of these things happening did not happen 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They happen right
I know,
now,
right?
like
Yeah.
right now. And I feel like that's, as somebody who's been in the fighting game community for most of his life, that's a big step for me, and just being able to see that that's a thing that's happening is very that's a very hot topic for me anyways.
Yeah, mine is pretty similar. It's all the people in the FGC who work super hard and do really awesome things that particularly, especially make it so that people like us can do this full time.
Yep.
There's so many people who work really, really hard in the FGC on so many different projects and things. Guys like Mark and Rick and Seg and all these people who are organizing events and, you know, all the finally now developer support in the scene. All the people
you
who
have to have legal framework, of course, and there
Legal
might be people who
framework.
take care of that.
people who take care of that.
Dude, there was actually
maybe.
an article that someone created like some esports like law firm or something.
Oh yeah,
like that.
Bryce Blum. He's been practicing in esports for some years.
Oh, okay.
I thought he already had his own practice.
Oh,
to be perfectly
okay,
honest,
okay,
but
okay,
in any
okay.
case, congrats to him.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a general thing of like all the people who make the FGC is what it is, and like all the different sponsors who are involved. It's kind of like a big community award. It's like basically an award for all the people who work super hard on this, because I don't think that this would have ever been possible before this year, maybe.
Right.
Like I think this is the one year where now people like it's legit that more people can do it full time than ever before, and we're good examples of that.
Right.
Because I think before this year it would have been really hard to do.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to add on to that whole thing too. That it's happening the way that I always hoped it kind of would, and that
Right.
it's all homegrown. That it's all coming within the fighting game.
all those
community.
people involved.
You know, a lot of the
brain
people who
in
are
the
getting
FGC.
involved are people who like fighting games, and we've been in fighting games and stuff like that. And it's because we have that passion that I feel like it's working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was going to be my number 2, but it doesn't really matter order for this. So, yeah, I was going to say the same thing. That esports and the FGC is finally happening in a way that is right. Yeah, it was weird sounding when I was.
I don't like the way that. I like the way
a little funky. Tastes fine though. Yeah, it's happening the way that we wanted it to happen, which is a good point that James was just mentioning. The people who are involved in the process are mostly FGC in the important roles, from the obviously tournament organization standpoint to the even the developers that are in almost every developer, maybe
Developer
every
support.
developer now has people involved who are players. Like you
Yeah.
got the Combo Fiends and the Keatses, and you got the Mike Z's, and you got NRS is basically full of them, and that's how they all are now.
Yeah.
And that's something that is really great. So it's like every part of the process, the stream production, merchandising, like all these things, even the big money companies like Red Bull,
Yes.
like Ben Nichols was like I always thought of him as like a StarCraft dude.
Yeah.
I thought that's where he'd come from. But he's telling me actually that he was like an old school Tekken head in Atlanta.
Wow.
I knew no idea he ever played Tekken, but that was like his big entry into competitive gaming. So even like the big money companies, the people involved are FGC.
I like
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. That's like
self-pollination,
exactly,
man. I
it's
like
exactly
it.
what we wanted.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's not.
just
I don't feel like there's some outside organization that's like you will have esports now. It's like we're all growing up and we're getting more. We're getting jobs. Excuse me. We're getting like more money involved, and it's like because of us.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't feel like there's like some
yeah,
external folks.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's awesome.
And I've
great.
always said, like, like Evo made it to Mandalay Bay on its own.
Yeah.
But man, I'm the rebel here. I'm gonna be Rebel Chensor from now on because I'm the only one that doesn't like. I didn't have that on my list,
Oh.
and like
Oh, what a bug.
I'm just
Yeah.
like
Well, that's why
I'm a loser here.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah.
What's your number 2, Jimmy?
My number 2 is I really so obviously David talked about this playing other games and stuff like that. The one thing that I talk about Capcom Cup, and a lot of people are like, why is everything so Capcom centric? But what Capcom Cup has done is shown a lot of companies that this can work. And the thing that I love is KI Cup, King of the Iron Fist. SNK is trying to do their own thing. Even Arc System Works is doing the whole Arc System Works Fighting Game Awards that's coming up like this. I think it's this week or next weekend. Like there's just
DOA has its thing.
DOA
It seems
has
like
its
a lot
own
of things,
thing.
too.
So the fact that all these games right now have their own cups and they're all trying to do this, have their own tournament series, I think that's awesome. Even like I think it was Brawlhalla announced that they were gonna have like a tournament series just recently, and so I think that that's really really awesome, and I hope that they can thrive. And I've always preached that it's the community's responsible to strengthen their game to the point where because a lot of people used to be like, oh, our community can't survive if we don't go into Evo, and that's I like Evo's obviously important, but you can build your community without
you
it.
can still
right?
your
You
community
still-
can survive without
The
it.
Skullgirls community has been around for years because of the people in it. Even something like ST Revival, even the Vampire Savior community. The fact that it was even got to have a top 8 at Combo Breaker, that kind of thing happened because the community's supporting it, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to bring up and talk about was just how cool it is that all these other guys are making their own cups and everything like that.
Right.
This is kind of general for me, but I just didn't know how to articulate it in all honesty. And it kind of plays on a couple other things that was said. The community aspect of the fighting game community. It's been in question for quite some time, especially with all the bad stuff that happens, the bad publicity, the sexual harassment, the people just being not cordial to each other, the exclusion of people in communities, overall conduct when it comes to being involved with the community and everything actually around that. I feel like it's still on kind of like the hotbed, and I feel like that's why it's really important for all the communities to play well with each other, because as a whole, the entire community is under a spotlight. And believe it or not, like, everybody's gonna get lumped in regardless of where you try to play. If you try to say, well, it was just that one KI game or that one Smash Brothers title or that one Tekken player or whatever the case may be. Thing is like we're all in the same boat at this point, and I feel like there needs to be more steps taken to make sure that we all understand that we're here not only in just fighting games, but as a whole we're all here together. So it's kind of all inclusive. If we're in a community, we need to make sure our community looks good, because we're not all just mean people or looking for a best way out or trying to take advantage of somebody or trying to make somebody look bad. That's not why we're all here, and we need to make sure that people understand in the community as well as outside the community that we're a community and not just some thing that's floating around ambiguously just being like we're something. So I just feel like that's one of the things that people should.
I'm totally with you.
All right.
And like when or if
Well
people
said.
do
Well
things
said.
that are not welcoming or hateful or harassment or whatever, it's important to speak out on that.
It's true.
Yep,
And
true.
I think that it's been like encouraging to see that more often.
Yeah.
When there have been incidents of harassment, people just get kicked out, or incidents of like people being like absurd or hateful on Twitter. Or other people will say like this is not a cool thing to do.
Right.
I feel like that's happening more often than it ever did, and that's nice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Number two for me, pretty similar to what Jimmy Boy brought up a little earlier, which was fighting games on TV.
Okay.
Fighting games being brought more to the mainstream with different things like it being on ESPN twice this year. I think that to me, it was a really cool thing because it was one of those things where like I talked to friends or family who have never seen anything fighting game related, and they're like, "Oh yeah, wasn't it on like ESPN or like?" I heard that like there's something like that. Like people will come up to me and they're like, "Yeah, I heard you on ESPN. Like I was watching Street Fighter Finals and I heard your voice on ESPN." And I was like, "Yeah." And there's that ESPN recap video where like our commentary was featured on there because like the L.I. Joe thing was on there. And to me, the most exciting thing about it is that it's the start.
Yes.
This year was the start of it being on TV, and my hope is that next year not only will there be more times where there's fighting game events on TV. But it'll be more games, right? It'll be other games besides just Street Fighter. So, there'll be other broadcasts where, like, ESPN does, like, the top 8 or of all games at EVO. Or, like, top 3 of all games at EVO. Or something like that, right? Like, the hope is that there's something like that, right? That it is just the start. If, like, other things pick up TV, other TV orgs, right? Not even just ESPN, because that's been one that's happened a few things. I guess by next year, I also meant this year, by the way. But
yeah, I know. We're gonna be doing this for a while.
by that.
No, we're gonna be doing this.
Yeah, the hope is that like like all these other different sports or just TV channels start picking up more fighting game stuff.
And kind of to go along with stuff that David said about like if Street Fighter V isn't good, go play other games and stuff like that. And I know I've brought this up a lot, but the fact that Street Fighter V has gotten us on TV and stuff like that, I feel like does open the door for the other games. So, rising tide rises, raises all boats. That's just I just see it that way. People have to understand that, like you said, we're all in this together. So one of them comes up, the rest of us goes up. I
hope so too.
Somebody said anime will never be on ESPN. It's too lewd for TV. It was already on ESPN.
It was actually one of the big pools.
Before Street Fighter was on ESPN,
that's true.
anime was on ESPN.
Joke's on you.
Dude, and plus the anime games aren't even remotely.
Remember when
Washige no?
Washige.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that was on ESPN.
But the other thing too is like nothing in the anime games is worse than Laura, dude. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, dude. They didn't let
Mika.
what's the place? Yeah. Mika had to pick the secondary.
Dude, and I just love that because if Laura now, who's amazing in season 2, if she makes it on ESPN, she has no.
There's
costume.
no choice, man.
There's no costume for them. So.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep, you're stuck. Number 2.
Oh, is it me? My number 2 is New Blood doing good work, and that's the case for commentary. Nice work. That's the case for players. And I feel like that's really nice. It seemed in, I would say for a while that the people who were succeeding or doing good work had always been doing it, or like for a long time at least. And I don't feel like it was. I guess I just say I feel like in the last year, a lot of that new blood has like really taken its position as like we're some of the best at whatever it is now. Players like Do, who's been good for a long time, but like now he's the best, and he's like definitely he's like 20.
Yeah.
And Punk, like I mentioned, he's like all of a sudden fantastic, and John Takeuchi is a good example as well. You guys are good examples for commentary, but like Katana Prime started doing it, and he's awesome. And Ketchup and Mustard's like first commentary gig ever was, well, first major one anyway, was Fatal 8 for MK, and like now they're fantastic in like the space of like almost immediately. So I think that that's really nice. It's encouraging from a community perspective to see that it's not like just the old folks like coasting and continuing to do stuff, because that doesn't lead to good things. You have to have like new folks coming in order for it to be propagated for a long time, and also in order to spur on the people who had been doing it for a long time. So like I never thought about or cared about ads at all as a commentator. I literally went a year without doing any of them because I let James do it. Maybe it was longer than a year. It was like a long time.
The ads would just come up and then David
I
would just go
stop
silent.
talking.
He'd just
like,
go
I'd
silent.
literally stop talking.
Yeah.
Because I was like, whatever. I never even thought about it. And then you made me think about it. And I appreciate that because like I would have just kept on like being like whatever, James can do it or whoever. But that's good. It's like an important thing to have. So nice work, everybody.
All right.
Okay. I keep seeing people joke about Laura and ESPN costumes, and I'm like, what if Capcom actually put a second code that secretly gave her more clothes, like that they would just reveal if you...
That's not going to sell enough costumes, James. They would never allow it.
How much are the costumes again? They're like $3-4 or something like that?
I have no
dude,
idea.
fight money, dude. They're just fight money.
I've never bought one.
I haven't either.
Alright.
I'm running on default color ones and
Yeah, I
and
know,
Bison
right?
or whatever else. Like,
Yeah.
Well, my number one pick, obviously, is a story that really needs to be brought up, but my number one random selected award goes to L.I. Dad. Because that guy is just awesome, right? I mean, like, I've heard a lot of, like, Joe's told me, like, he's tweeted about it, I've talked to him about it, but his dad was also, like, this great musician. He played at, like, the wedding of, like, I forgot, it was, like, Robert Downey Jr. or something like that. It was, like, some, like, famous people, he would, like, do their weddings and stuff like that. But, like, the fact that he came out there and created this crazy story, flew out there when he heard Joe made it out there, and to see him
like
support...
overnight, like he was like, yeah, I'm buying a ticket right now.
Yeah,
It
he
wasn't
saw it,
planned.
was like, I'm just going to Mandalay Bay. And he made it out there. And, you know, his dad, who is a musician, you know, is largely, you know, very supportive of Joe. And he, you know, is one of those people that's like, live out your dream, do what you want to do kind of thing like that. And that support has allowed Joe to do this. And then to see that, you know, he put his, you know, he meant it. The fact that Joe made it to top 8 and he flew all the way out there.
Yeah.
I just think that's super cool. That story was awesome, amazing, and shout outs to L.I. Joe's dad. So he is
Yeah, that's
the
awesome.
coolest, cool guy. So
For sure.
All right, my number one is just the events overall. Any fighting game event that we went to, being under heavy scrutiny for the way it's being ran on a timely fashion when it comes to seeds, players getting to warm up, the friendlies, everything about that. I think it's crazy. It's not crazy, but I like the fact that it's kind of stepped into the light that these events have they do kind of have a service that needs to always be rendered to those people who come pay to play or just tune in to listen. So when you have issues like, you know, internet or random frame drops or whatever the case may be, that it should be addressed. Just about the overall organization of how events are being run and who's running them. The fact that people definitely do pay attention does not mean you need to jump out the window insulting an event, because that's just not called for. There's a lot of people that go out of their way to say, well, that event sucked because of XYZ and I'm not going to go because my game aren't there and I don't like that guy and they don't let me warm up in the back and I don't have a special store. Nobody cares about any of that. I think the most important part of everything that's happened concerning the way a tournament is ran this year and it should be going forward into the future is all about improvement. Right. It is definitely about what you say and how you say it as well. Like, those things all play a major part. I just think that I like how vocal people are, but I feel like it can be done a little more tactfully from...
constructively. Right?
There you go. Like, from every
Right.
situation. If you're in a TO running another event or talking about another TO's event, I feel like we still haven't gotten to the point where we're being a little more political about it. I just think that that's a thing that should come from the players, attendees, as well as the TOs. That's something.
Random Select Award, number one winner to me. It's kind of an interesting one. I'm surprised he hasn't got brought up yet. Korea Gaming.
Oh.
That is my Random Select winner of the year. Korea Gaming. So, you know, if you don't know that, I started... The big thing that was big for me when I got into fighting games was content. I felt like not enough people were doing good content, right? That was like an issue I felt like. And I think that his content is fantastic.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
some of the best content in the FGC, and the thing I like the most about it is that it's something that's really easy to show people who don't play fighting games. He did that video where he like broke down how like frame data works, and he used all these real world examples, and it was really, really awesome. And like these kind of videos, I'm just like browsing Reddit, and in like the game subreddit, like that video is there and it has hella upvotes and like tons of people commenting and talking about fighting games and stuff like that. He had like the Shaq Fu video that was super entertaining.
Dude, the baseball swing analogy.
The baseball
to
swing frame
startup,
data.
Active and recovery was
Right.
genius.
For sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
his videos are absolutely amazing. I think he does such fantastic work. We got to briefly chat with him at Evo, and like to me, like if anybody deserves a shout out for some of the awesome content they do that already doesn't get it, because there's tons of awesome content creators in fighting games, but I feel like Core Gaming's not talked about enough. So to me, I wanted to give this award, like my random select award to him because like his videos are fantastic. I really hope that he keeps making them in 2017. I know he mentioned that like, he has some stuff like Infiltration. I guess did an interview with him. He said that's coming out soon. Like I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Gerald does super awesome work.
Gerald Lee, aka Core A Game.
Yeah, if you haven't seen his videos, I literally spent the night. I hadn't seen his videos before, and I saw one of them, and I watched like every video he's ever put out, and I was like, this channel is amazing. I couldn't believe how good his videos are. They're super high quality, well done videos. Not only just for a fighting game audience, but for an audience that like doesn't know fighting games that well to get him in. Like I could show my dad the frame data video, and suddenly he'll be like, now I get frame data. Like, it just makes sense to me, right? So, yeah.
Someone actually mentioned here that, about Captain Mama actually mentioned Javits. Like, I feel like we should mention Javits, too, because that guy is...
Lab Monsters.
I totally should have put him in my FGC members.
Yeah. Maybe he's like the new blood of Lab Monsters. He's been playing fighting games, like, in Street Fighter 4. When I was getting Street Fighter 4 in, like, 2009... I went to New York, and he was the one who like showed me around. So he's not some new dude. But in terms of like the level of tech, it was like in Ultra SF4 that he was like, now I am ridiculous. Like, he was. And
Street Fighter.
Also, he was like the best at it.
Dude, you saw that he made up those optimal punishes on EX uppercuts in Street Fighter 5, and now everybody does it.
Oh yeah.
Everybody does those videos where you see Akuma EX uppercut, hit a button under it, and then do some big damage.
And
that was all him.
He made that Laura defense primer.
That was really good.
Which is actually really good. Just as well as just like making and uploading numerous clips just to show like miscellaneous things, punishment wise and understanding wise in Street Fighter 5. I just think he does an amazing job doing it.
ZXC Just even mentions that PR Rog, like all of his Balrog tech from 4 came from Javits.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, Jibbo's another important one.
Yeah, Jibbo does awesome stuff.
Yeah, Jibbo's been great forever.
Yeah.
I'm super biased because he posts sick Urian tech.
He does. He does.
All stolen.
How can you not have sick Urian tech? Because that's a pretty strong character.
Yeah.
That character's good, man.
Dang, they did some weird things with him. All right, is it my turn?
Yes.
Number one.
My number one is this community support for old games. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's been something that's been developing. Like with Tournament of Legends and ST, what was that, 2012 or something? 2013, something like that? So it's not like brand new, but I feel like it's so strong now that you bring over players specifically for old games. Like Boss has been over in the States for CBS2 a couple
just
of times.
Went to NEC.
Was just at NEC. Players for ST like Kusumondo and Matsun, but also other times. Third Strike is getting tournaments again at lots of majors. That is super cool. It's so important, I think, to continue to play games that you like. And if the game that you like is a game that came out in 1998 or 1994, so be it. Yeah, that was literally before. It's crazy. But yeah, even in ST, some of the very strong players in the US now are relatively young. Players who are in like early 20s. Are some of the best players in the States. So that's something that is really nice, and I hope that more game communities do that. Like if somebody really likes, one of the old Guilty Gears or like one of the old Tekkens or whatever it is, like play the games that matter to you. You don't have to give them up.
And the coolest thing about it too is like even with something like ST, some of the best players in the country now are all younger people who have just picked it up recently. Even like Vampire Saver, Mr. Igloo, he's also really good at Super Turbo right now from SoCal. You know, these are people who didn't grow up with these games. They went back and they're super good at it. So that's really cool that even new blood is learning these games.
Yeah, it's something that I hope continues to develop. And in some far off future, Street Fighter V will be an old person's game, and I hope that there will be new people playing it. You know, I mean, I hope that sort of cycle continues for all the games.
Maybe not Street Fighter 5.
I would like to see it continue.
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great if there's like some Ultra Street Fighter 4 crew.
Hey,
Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't want to play it, but like, there certainly are many people who want to play it,
Yeah.
and they should be able to if they care about
Yeah,
it.
and I really hope like MVC2 keeps this momentum
yeah.
getting a little bit.
Yeah, Marvel 2.
Did
That's
you-
right. Yeah, Justin versus Yipes. just
Yeah,
happened,
but dude,
right?
did you
That
see
was-
Justin
yeah.
played in the Philippines against a bunch of people there because they still
No.
have a big MVC2
Okay.
scene, except they play on 1 damage. They
What?
actually they changed their rules, so that community plays on 1 damage. So Justin actually money matched their best player on
Okay.
their settings, and I think it was like 4-4, and Justin won like the last game or
That
something
game must
like
be
that.
super different on that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you're not taking any
Like,
damage.
different characters must be good, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
for Justin to have that close of a set, like, yeah, that's crazy.
I hope someone has like the
Interesting.
footage out there because I really
Yeah, I
want to
watched
watch
it.
that.
I watched it.
Oh, you
It's
did?
It's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I can't
okay.
believe they play. Like the match takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
That's
wild.
funny.
1 damage
funny.
Marvel 2.
Yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
I guess Melee is the is the biggest profile like old
Oh,
game,
yeah, of
right?
course, of
That
course.
game is 15 years old and it's one of the biggest fighting games in the world still. So
Okay.
that's unusual. But even if you like a game that not many people play, you can definitely find a scene for it and build a scene for it. Other people have. It'd be nice to see more people do it.
Well, the last category we have is our own personal fighting game community resolutions for 2017. Oops, gotta write that down here. Do you want just I can just rattle off all 3. You can do all 3 and stuff like that. We don't have to do one by one unless you still want to do
That's
one
fine.
by one.
Whatever.
What do you think? Is it
Either way, it's fine. I don't care.
okay? Well, my personal resolution, I'll just do them all then.
You got
pretty
it.
much. So the third one is really, so last year I said one of my things I wanted to do was learn more games. Obviously, I was working for the first half of that, and it just never happened. I don't have any excuse this time, so this year I really do want to learn as many games as I can at this point. I have a lot more time, and I'll stream myself doing it, right?
There you
go. But the number 2 one kind of goes with that, is that I just really want to get better at Guilty Gear because I'm mad that I'm so terrible at that game right now.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
okay. You
just
can
need
play
to
online with me.
I need to
anytime
play.
I'm
I need to play
around.
that game more. But see, I need to play against people who aren't just gonna beat me down for like.
Yo,
3
that's how
hours,
you
like,
learn,
That's
dude.
how you
like
learn.
freaking Coogie, dude. Look, I'm telling you,
I'm
man.
with you.
Everybody,
I mean, you.
everybody learns differently. That's
Yeah, of
not how
course,
I
yeah.
learn.
Oh, okay.
I do not learn
Okay,
that
all
way.
Sounds
I
made
do
up.
not learn that way. So, like I said, the best games I've ever been are the ones where I blow up my friends who aren't as good at me for a very long time. So, I actually learn better when I get to experience the flow and come up with things and try things. And when
I don't know how that's possible.
Maybe it's
Well,
just you're beating a bunch of
mode or-
players.
What if the flow that you guys are playing is totally not how the game is really played?
But see, that's the thing is, I'm actually at the point where I like to experiment. So even when I played CVS1 and CVS2 with my friends all the time, I was able to experiment and try things. Like when I played Coogie and Guilty Gear recently, this was my entire game. And then I died. And I was like, well, I never learned anything about my character. You know, that I can't learn that way. That's not how I learn.
I understand.
So I need to learn a different way. So I agree, though, that playing people better than you and getting beat down is the right way to learn for a lot of people.
For me, it definitely is.
Right,
Yep.
but it is not how I learn.
will take
it does
every
not work
L
for me that
associated with
way.
learning.
You gotta have those explanatory beatdowns, man. That's
Yeah.
so important for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, see,
me
that's
too.
the thing is, I like to get to that point after I learn a lot about the game.
Okay.
But see, when I play the game and the first thing I do is I can't move, then I'm like, what's the point?
Well, yeah, it's not like your first day
Well,
playing
okay,
the
so,
game,
like, the
though.
first
But that
time-
literally was me playing against Cookie.
You played Guilty Gear before that.
Yeah, but not Revelator, not Exert at all.
In like week 1, when I
Right,
first
so-
started to play Blaze Blue, again, I didn't play it in between the first one and like whatever one I played. Now I forget what the name was.
So many,
I guess?
man. Don't
Seriously.
be ashamed. It's okay.
Anyway,
Right.
I went over to the house and I played against Sanchez, and he probably, or maybe that was elsewhere. Anyway, I played against Sanchez, and he beat me probably 50 times in a row, something like that. His bullet versus my Tager, and I just got like wrecked. But
Bullet was stupid. I know exactly. Yeah, Bullet was dumb then, so it's okay.
well, I don't even think that was the case. It was just like I didn't know my options.
Right.
But like through the time of it, like I definitely noticed improvement. I was still losing, but I was like improving. Okay, here are my defensive options. I got it. Like which button should I press? Okay, probably not stand D right there. I got it. Like things
Right.
like that.
So
And by the end of it, I when I was like driving home after that, I was like, oh, I got
You guys
dunked
are
here
idiots.
for this reason, and I sort of like figured it out. And the next time I played him,
right.
I lost, but it wasn't anywhere as bad. It was like much closer. And anyway, that's how I learned.
For me, I mean, the reason why I learned that way, honestly, is because I'm a muscle memory person. Like, I need repetition and to be able to do stuff. So I'm not the kind of person that can be like, oh, I'm coming up with this solution. How do I defeat this? I need to sit down and go practice it. You know what I mean? And so when I play against people that I can beat up, I can practice those things. I build the muscle memory. I build the muscle memory for this mix-up. I remember that this is an option to do and stuff like that. When I don't get to play that, I can't build it into my hands. I have this really bad problem. So like even people watching me stream, like people with uppercuts and I can't, and I'm Cammy, and I walk up to crush counter them with fierce. Like I don't know why I can't get my hand to hit roundhouse. You know what I mean? It's like a weird problem with my brain that I get stuck on things.
I think it is a muscle memory thing. You're just knowing, actually getting that into your system is
right. And that's what I need. I need to have the ability to get that into my system by playing and succeeding and feeling it work. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I've always learned to play fighting games. So, but yeah. But my number one resolution is just to stream more. Just stream as much as I humanly can. So. I'll be doing that a lot this year. I will be streaming a lot on UltraChen TV.
All right.
So what do you got, Stevie?
My three was a one to stream more because I feel like everybody else, like especially like this guy,
streaming.
like I've actually been doing a lot of research though, like because I see other people stream and I'm just like, man, I focus way too hard when I play, so I have to look at it a little differently, which is one of the reasons I've been holding off on streaming. But I will be streaming more this year.
Excuses.
Better tourney results. As much as I love to commentate, I still like to enter, and I like to play a lot of games. So it's actually pretty. It's really hard to stay playing wise up on games while commentating as well. I was only able to do it competently, and to my effect in 2 games, even though I played 3. I played Street Fighter, and I did pretty good in Street Fighter, but I could definitely do a lot better. Guilty Gear, I could do better in that game. Yeah. And
played
then
Nash and Mika, like, oh my god. Yeah. That's what Knuckle Dude played for like 80% of the year.
Yeah, anyways, so, but yeah, that and like just the 3 games that I play, I do want to do better in them. And to be better at commentary by knowing even more. Because I definitely have a bunch of gaps that I need to fill in. I'm working on them right now. But the thing is like I'm more actively pursuing making sure that those are important and something that I focus on in gameplay. So those are my 3.
Okay.
All right, my 3. Third, to not stream more because I'm already streaming quite a bit.
Right.
And so like I mentioned this earlier, but I got into FGC through content creation. I have a YouTube channel that's like probably and still like the top 5 biggest YouTube channels for fighting games. I'm at like 20K subs on YouTube, and like I never upload to it anymore.
Right.
So my big resolution is to take a lot of the footage that I'm doing on there and put it on YouTube. A lot of my Twitch footage.
Why aren't you put? Why? I mean, I thought you were doing that already.
No, I haven't been doing that stuff, and so I'm gonna kind of copy what other people have been doing by having someone help me out with my YouTube and cut a lot of the stuff I'm doing on there and post it on there. And that goes along with, and so like my YouTube is being used again, right? So like there's also a talk show kind of thing where I just sit down and talk about a topic that I also want to do on my YouTube. So I'll do those on Twitch and then cut them over and put them on YouTube. So yeah, that's one of the big ones that I want is to use my YouTube more and just utilize it. I mean, there's 2 people that I'm talking to right now about helping me with my YouTube.
Okay.
And so yeah, they're gonna help me with it. And I don't want to necessarily do the YouTube to make money because obviously my YouTube account still makes money. But yeah, like I want to have more content on there. In that, and so that kind of leads into my second resolution, which is to help more people be able to make money through fighting games and do fighting games full time. Because this year there was a lot of people that helped us out, and so now in 2016, Steve and I did it full time for basically the whole year. Right, this is our job and how we our sole source of income was doing fighting game events, streaming, going to all those different things. Right, so. Part of that YouTube thing was paying the person who's doing my YouTube.
Right.
So creating a job by helping that. So I won't be making money off my YouTube channel, but I'll be helping someone else be able to do this full time. Because in other stuff like that, right? Obviously, there's tons of people who make money through being like YouTube editors for like League of Legends players or like stuff like that, right? So I'll lose a little bit of money there, but I'll have more content on my YouTube, and I'll have just more of that in general, right? I'll have the Twitch footage cut over to there, so there'll be more stuff like that. I'm gonna reach out and talk to all the replay channels, and make sure that I can post their footage for match analysis that I do and stuff like that. He's just blowing his nose in there.
I know.
Yeah, so that's one of my big resolutions, is to make it so that more people who want to be involved in fighting games can get paid doing it, and there's just more people that can do it full time, but also just can make any kind of money, right? Like side money. Okay. And my primary resolution, the big one, is something that David mentioned earlier, but help support my generation of fighting game commentators, players, streamers, editors, all the young generation that are interested in getting into fighting games and doing it more. And so that's one big thing that I want to help out. Because obviously this is a good year for my generation, like Do.
Right.
Obviously had an awesome year. Sonic Fox is super young. Punk, John Takuchi. There's tons of people who have had a good year who are super young in fighting games. But the big thing I want to do is help create more opportunities for them in terms of getting better sponsor deals.
Right.
Having more chances to compete at events. Putting them, in the limelight as much as I can. Helping them out, like if they need help with streams, or if there's something I can do to like promote them, like if they're streaming, I can host their channels and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. Anything
I can do to help my generation be better at having a chance to do fighting games full time or make money out of it if they'd like to do that. Okay. So those are my big resolutions, is to help more people in fighting games do what I do if they'd like to, and try to spread the wealth a little bit.
Okay.
Cool. By the way, did you imply that you weren't part of the younger generation?
No,
I said my generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 22.
You were too busy
else.
hacking up along.
Well,
with
don't
that.
be too concerned with what goes on in the bathroom right now, James.
Yeah.
All right, everything's fine.
Good times.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. So those are the big ones for me.
Okay.
My three. My first one is to stream more and regularly, and to get back to making some of the stuff that I used to make. Like I haven't done a level 3 focus in probably like a year and a half. And I'd like to do that more, and it's like not that onerous to do. I don't know why I haven't been doing it in the first place. I've just been lazy, I guess. But that's something that I want to get more of.
You have a day job.
I do have a day job,
Yeah.
for sure. And that's going to figure in coming up. But I can definitely fit both, and that's not always easy. But it like requires that I just like wake up earlier, which is not that hard. It's like not that bad.
That's really hard.
It's really hard.
It is.
It's really hard.
Fine. It is fine. It is.
Dude,
but
we
it's
were
something
talking.
to do.
We had a conversation one time about that weird state when you wake up and like everything that you do is like really crafty on how you can get more sleep.
Dude, yep.
Like even the night before, you're like, no, I'm waking up at 10, and then your alarm rings at 10, and somehow your brain justifies, nope, gonna snooze. It's okay.
Dude, this happened like the other week. I had set my alarm for 8, which is normally when I set it. I typically don't actually wake up then, but I set it for that, and my girlfriend was like, hey, your alarm went off. Like, shouldn't you wake up? Like, shouldn't you get up? And I was like, no, I'm taking it as a weekend day, right? Because I work for myself, so I can take any day as my weekend day, right? And so I told her, no, I'm going to take it as a weekend. And I thought to myself, genius. You just explain it away. Everything's going to be great. Go back to sleep. And then, then when I finally got up, like 2 hours later, I was like, that wasn't a good explanation at all. Like, I wasn't like...
Right,
It didn't matter that I explained it to her.
Yeah,
it
was completely counterproductive to what you needed to do.
These things, you know what I mean? But like it was like so genius that I was like, I got my girlfriend off my case. Like,
but
got her. She's gonna go do stuff around the house while I continue to
she's
sleep.
do her own thing.
Great idea.
She saw you were working and was like, "What? Isn't this supposed to be a day off?"
Yeah. So later she saw me doing stuff and she was like, I thought this was supposed to be a weekend or a weekend day. And I said, no, that was Sleep David. He was just being an idiot.
You weren't talking to me, regular David. That was Sleep David.
That guy was an idiot this morning. I don't know what he was thinking.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I do want to fit that in more, and I think what I'd like to do is have it be kind of early in the morning. So like I stream sometimes when I'm like looking over, or I should say I play video games a lot when I'm like in the morning doing emails, right?
Yeah.
And like that's like a stupid slow process. It requires that I wait for people to get back to me, and I'm not doing crap in the meantime, so I'm playing games. So I could totally make that a stream time. So anyway, that's something that I'm gonna do. And then the second one is to put more of my legal focus on the FGC. It's not that much right now, just because historically there hasn't been like much money in the FGC. So as like a job, it like wasn't that important. And so I concentrated on other like esports titles or do whatever game development, publishing, whatever else it is that I do. But I would really like to do that more often to help out players. It's something that I've been doing a lot of lately, and I really want to help that. There's like a lot of really good deals that are coming to players in the FGC. There's like some really nice ones coming out, and it's really great to like help them negotiate better deals and stuff. So I think that's great. I'm really excited for that, and I want to make that something that I do more often. So like putting mixing the two a little bit more. Law and FGC. And then the last one is to play less Street Fighter V and more other games. I really like Street Fighter V, but I've been focusing on it almost to the exclusion of everything else. And I haven't played like MK, for example, in probably like a couple of months.
Have you played even the most recent patch at all?
Yeah, I definitely played it a lot when it first came out, but in the last couple of months I have not. And that's stupid because I really enjoy playing it. You know, like I don't know why I wouldn't play it. But I haven't been. Again, I think it's because of like inertia. Like I played Street Fighter 4 and whatever, so still playing 5. But yeah, I want to, especially once Tekken comes out, and when the second season of Killer Instinct comes out, I really want to try getting more into that as well. I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be really cool. And this is not just a gameplay thing either. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket when it comes to like the money side of this, to like the career side of this. So if you're only doing commentary for one game, that game ends up sucking and nobody plays it or watches it, then nobody asks you to commentate anymore.
The Tasty Jam strategy, huh?
Well, I mean, that's what I had done for a long time, but there just like wasn't money in commentary, so who cares if I'm commentating 5 games at an event in like 2011? Like, it didn't matter, right? But now it does, so that's something that I have to concentrate on more.
As well as your health, because...
I'm really glad that this is a small room and we have the door closed and like
it's quite warm.
There's no window or anything like that.
There's no wind either,
so,
that's for sure.
So we're all doomed.
I got a pretty strong immune system. I don't know, man.
I got bad news for you, Steve. I get sick maybe once or twice a year, and when I do, it's for a day.
Damn.
And I've been sick for about 5 or 6 days now with this baby.
Ditto.
So.
I'm one of those sick ones a year.
It's a strong variant, whatever it is, man.
Okay, I'm done then, so...
Yeah. I've been trying to stay away from you guys, but,
Could have Skyped in tonight.
We'll see if that works. It was a big night.
God.
Okay, that was like an old man cough right there. That was straight up like...
That was spleen breaking and coughing right there.
If this is what David is like without apple cores, I think you should probably
the lesser
have
of
some
the two
apple
evils.
cores.
You need to start getting back on these apple cores, man.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Man, that emoticon is funny.
Okay.
The next time I'm going to is KIT, which is this weekend.
That's right.
Hey, guess what? I'm like 99% sure I'll be at KIT now.
I will also 100% be at KIT.
Yay,
We
KIT.
talked-
Be staying at home.
We talked about developer support. Shout outs to Microsoft. Be going out there to commentate some Killer Instinct. So yeah, Brandon, Microsoft, good work to you guys. I'm pretty sure I'll be at KIT, although it's not 100%, but it's looking like a 90, maybe a 95.
Sage is definitely doing down back charge.
Yeah.
If
you
your Fortress of
flash
Honda
kick
over there,
it's coming out.
you're ST Honda right now.
I'm down back.
You got
like a
the
son of a
half
gun.
circle back charged already.
Oh damn! Somebody asked me about the jacket. Yo, I actually wore that jacket when I went back to St. Louis. People were trying to buy it off my back.
Are you serious?
Which one?
The one I got from Japan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the $300 jacket.
Nice.
So what I'm probably gonna do?
I call that this could have been a computer jacket.
Oh Jesus! So what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
My first stream of
But
the
his
year.
mama told him that.
My
he
mom
should've
told
bought
me.
the
You think I'm gonna
jacket,
I'm gonna
right?
listen to you guys over my mom?
No,
Yeah.
I
She
don't.
definitely texted me and was like, Steve, if you don't bring that jacket back, I was like, you know what, Mom? You're
Dude,
right.
as soon as that
Does your-
happens, you gotta do. That's it. That's the
Does
end
your-
of discussion.
Does your mom support your
It's the
commentary
validation.
career?
Yeah.
Well, you know that streaming on Twitch is part of that, right? And
Um,
having a computer
so
to
look-
do so is very valuable.
Yeah.
In fact,
Which one is more important for getting views? Do you think? having a jacket or
But
having
I'll get
the
the
ability
views.
to
And, like, the
use
crazy-
I'll get the views when I look sick as hell in my jacket.
But
crazy
you can't,
thing-
there's no stream to stream it on.
If I stream it, will you guys look at it so I can get these guys off my ass? No, I'm just
The crazy thing too is that, like, you know, if you stream, you make money, and then you could buy more $300 jackets.
Yo, okay, look, I'm gonna tell you
You're
now.
only 800 hours of streaming away.
Look,
Yeah.
look. My first stream will be at least one review of Japan. And these two guys already did it. But that's going to be the Steve take
Yeah.
on the Japan trips. So that's going to be one of my introductory streams of, you know, the tasty variety.
Yeah. The 3 resolutions to stream more.
It'll happen. It'll happen, I promise.
Can't wait for 2017.
Thanks
Ron.
for subscribing, DVR from Gamer Geek Nation.
Shout out
Hey.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to all that. I saw a lot of Sage Jam animes in the chat. You guys are the best. I'll be streaming tomorrow.
I need to get me some cool stuff too, man.
Yeah, I already created one cool thing for you, right? So.
This is
Yeah.
true. No, I'm telling you, man. This year, these Steve streams are about to be lit. I'm trying to tell you guys. It's going to be good.
And you have to wear the jacket on stream.
I'm going to show off the jacket, but I feel like it's a lot that goes into preparation for me to wear the jacket. So, I don't know if I'll show the outfit maybe.
What kind of preparation do you need?
I don't know, dude. I got to take a milk bath with rose petals. The room has to be scented. There has to be Kenny G playing. On top of that, I need a lot of hot oils. I'm a hot oil kind of guy.
Okay.
I got really dry skin. Stuff,
Look at those
stuff
Sage
of that
Jam
nature.
animes, dude.
Do you think like would you not be able to slide it on without all the oil, or like, what's
No,
the
it's
deal?
not
You
that.
know,
It's not that.
Need the
It's just
lubrication to make
it's
it.
one
You're gonna buy a
day,
$300
one-
jacket. You need that much preparation,
Right?
I'm
Yeah, it
just
costs an
saying.
extra $100 to put the jacket on
I'm
every
just saying,
time.
and I found out the jacket was reversible, so that's another added layer of coolness to. I'm just saying. Wait till you guys will see it on my stream, man. You watch.
Okay. Sounds good.
Jacket's amazing. You won't see any of
Reversible
these
stuff's great
nerds
'cause
wearing it.
you don't have
'cause
to-
it's too cool.
You don't have to wash them as often. You just flip it inside out, right?
That's why this guy can't buy a cool jacket right here.
That's why he's sick, actually.
I can't just keep wearing these socks and clothes over and over
think that's why
and
I'm
eat
rarely
apple
sick.
cores. Is that-
I think I'm rarely sick because I've inoculated myself by doing terrible health choices for so long.
That should be your resolution, bro.
One time in college, I was so gross that mold ended up growing in the walls.
Oh, come on,
And,
dude.
And I was sick for probably the last. My roommate and I both had persistent coughs for like the last 2 months we lived there because there's definitely mold in the walls.
I'm guessing you didn't get your deposit back at all, did
I don't
you?
think we got the deposit back.
That's
Yeah.
gross, B.
Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of
That
here.
was a particular time in my life.
Can we
I
just
don't
get
do
the
that
hell out
Like
of here?
last week or something? Jesus, okay.
I'm not gross anymore
Okay.
in comparison.
Dang, look at those ebony ivories. I'm
Dude,
about
the
it.
arms are everywhere, dude.
Yeah. Shout outs to all the Sage Jam animes I saw tonight. You guys are great. See you tomorrow. I slept for 12 hours last night. It was crazy. I don't know
Dude,
what
my
happened to
sleep
me.
schedule is like
Oh,
destroyed.
dude, my sleep
It
schedule
is.
garbage.
It is actually like in shambles.
Mine's not bad. It's just like, I don't know why I slept for so long. It was weird. Hey, that pop-off is pretty great.
Yo, that pop off is
Yeah,
got like.
we'll try to. Well, actually, because you guys want to tell the Japan stories on your own stream, you've already done it.
I mean, we could talk about it on here, just not tonight. It's-
Okay. Yeah, because it's late.
David's
It's
sick,
late.
I don't wanna do
Yeah,
that
we need to
anymore.
go. We need to go. So
Yeah, I'm hungry.
we've been here for 3 hours. So okay. Thanks everyone. I guess for tuning in. You'll probably stream tomorrow. I'm not sure if I will stream tomorrow because I've got to edit all the stuff to put it on YouTube.
Mhm.
So.
I'm gonna try to move stuff.
Dude,
to my
I
new
have 8
apartment
hours
tomorrow.
of footage from yesterday to put on YouTube
Jesus,
right now.
man.
So I need to.
I'm gonna
take
be
care of
asleep
that.
those 8
I'm
hours.
gonna be taking care of that. So you can watch 8 hours of James getting salty. So there you go. Okay, so that was 2016 again.
Yeah.
Hopefully, lots of cool stuff coming up for 2017.
Sure.
But we definitely need to get David some rest. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and appreciate everybody subscribing to Ultra Chen TV. Again, don't forget, if you have Amazon Prime, you can hook up your Twitch Prime to Amazon Prime, and then you can renew a subscription every month. You get a free
Yeah.
subscription every month
What?
with the Amazon Prime. Yeah, so if you have that and you feel like using it on Ultra Chen TV or on Sajam's channel or on Tasty Steve's channel,
He doesn't have a button.
Who?
Oh,
Who
yeah.
that? I do have a button.
you, have
You
a
do
button.
now?
You should
I
have,
have
a
a
button,
button.
right?
Since
So-
when?
I don't think I have a button. Do I have a button?
Since
Did you finally
you
fill out the
probably didn't
paperwork?
fill out all
Filled
that
out.
stuff. Like,
I don't
I
think
have
I
a
did.
button on
Do you have any
jchensor, but I
emoticons?
just use
Nope.
Gen TV.
I'm gonna get on that emoticon thing.
And I'm even gonna try to probably this Friday. I'm probably gonna try to stream some Metal Gear
Professional
5
streamer
too,
guy
as well,
over
so-
here.
Cause I just
It's not that
started it
hard.
recently.
Oh,
I just
yeah?
started it, so yeah.
For sure.
And honestly, my favorite thing in the game right now is Bionic Arm. Like
Yeah.
I Bionic Arm everybody. I Bionic Arm the sheep.
Yeah, you
I
got
chase
to.
the sheep and I Bionic
I
Arm
arm
the
them,
sheep.
and then you can Fulton them.
Yeah,
it's
I
pretty
just
sick.
rolled a
pretty
new
nice.
dwarf paladin from level 1, and
What?
I'm gonna work that guy all the way up to the 110. Believe it.
Good luck.
Believe it.
All right,
All
guys.
sorts of heirlooms will be fine. All right. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Peace
We'll see you
out,
next
everybody.
Tuesday.
They couldn't see that hand.